when I think back on the year that was 2018 in this podcast, I think the one conversation that I feel like we all really regret was when I pitched you guys The Missing. I feel like I maybe pitched it a little too early. I think a lot of the concepts went over your guys' heads, and I think that kind of made you guys feel a little insecure about like kind of just, you know, intelligence and stuff like that, which caused you guys to say some things that I know you both really regret now. So we're just gonna move past it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And
wait, what? Have you a new pitch?
yes, I do. That's where we're
Is
going.
this
with
where
all.
this is going?
I have reworkshopped The Missing.
Okay.
It's now, it's stunning, honestly. But here we go again. Okay. Okay. So first person view. You're just seeing out of some creature's vision.
How do we know it's a creature?
Because it's like walking and you can hear it breathing and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Oh
Kinda
my
just
god.
And maybe like
Nope.
the blink blinks sideways instead of like horizontal.
Absolutely
vertical
not.
blink.
No, not a chance. And it's sneaking up behind people, and whenever anyone like turns around and looks, they scream and the scene goes white. And then it just cuts back to like normal stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, that person they were found dead, just shocked. They saw the most horrifying thing in the world and they're dead, right?
Right.
This goes on for 2.5 hours. And then till there's only one person left on the entire planet.
Is it Lena Dunham?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Or Chris Hemsworth. It doesn't
Either
matter.
one,
Yeah,
it
either one's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
I think I'd rather Chris.
Yeah.
But then we're getting the same first person view, right? Okay.
Okay.
But then the camera starts pulling back and it's not a first person view anymore. Then the camera turns around and it reveals the creature that has been terrifying people this entire time is just a normal person.
It sounds like Netflix would give you money to make this.
Yeah.
See, so good? So good?
It's bad, but that's why it's
No,
good.
no, it's not. No, it's not. It's one of those films. I think the phrase is so good, it's good.
I think what's going to happen is people on Twitter are going to like talk about it for 24 hours.
Really?
Really, really intensively, and then fucking move on.
I feel like maybe what's happening now is that we're falling back into some of the same patterns that led to us all feeling so awful about that last conversation. Niamh, you seem pretty high on this movie.
I just think like Netflix are willing to throw money at stupid bad ideas, and this could be the exact stupid bad idea that they'll throw money at. Like, you'll get your movie made. Is it still called The Missing? Because
it's called The Personing.
You will be like the final pile of shit on the oversaturated heap of shit that is, 3-star, 2-star material that's on Netflix. That's why they changed the rating from thumbs up to thumbs down.
You need to like release it just before Christmas because everyone's home, everyone's sick of watching the same Christmas movies, so they're gonna watch anything. Maybe we get rid of Lena Dunham, put in Sandra Bullock.
Put in Will Smith.
Oh, Will Smith and Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
I think we got a winner.
I worry that maybe they don't have the chops to carry some of the material I've planned.
I don't know, like Will was real good and bright.
And he was really good in the YouTube Rewind.
Yeah, he
He
was.
wasn't he? Yeah.
He looked through those goggles.
I feel like we're starting 2019 on a really bad note.
How come you weren't on YouTube Rewind, John?
Yeah, that's why it had so many fucking dislikes.
There was no video essays. It was all like vloggers.
I checked my email
and sketches
and again, and I don't know what fucking spam folder the invite went to, but it just never turned out. So I don't know. 2020, I'll be on YouTube Rewind, guarantee it.
And the personing will be out. The personing?
The personing.
The personing.
What don't you understand about that movie? It's about how people are terrible.
How
it's
about
fucking
you make
genius.
like a YouTube channel movie? Like, you know how there's Smosh the movie and Angry Video Game Nerd the movie?
Okay.
Where's Super Eye Patch Wolf the movie?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to fucking show you. No video essays for the rest of the year. I'm going to spend 11 months making this movie.
In stop motion,
then,
it's going to look great.
Yeah, everyone will think the channel's dead, and then November 2019, I'm going to fucking upload this movie. Going to blow everyone's minds.
Now who's stupid?
Now who's stupid? Welcome to 2019 and welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss podcast, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the meanest fucking people I have ever met in my life. To my right, clad in a suit of golden chains, carrying her textbook mace.
Yeah.
It's Niamh.
Hi, everyone.
To my left, with a DVD collection of over 100 million, because you didn't know Blu-rays were going to become a thing.
I didn't.
It's the collector, Bryan.
I am the first person to give John's videos a thumbs down every single time.
It's true. And then I go to him and I'm like, Bryan, this person, just the second it goes up, it's just thumbs down. And he's like, yeah, weird.
Who is he? Seems like a cool guy.
No, that comment never made sense to me, but now it kind of does.
Yeah, and because I'm saying it on the podcast and there's a microphone between us, like, you can't do anything. It would be really, really unprofessional.
Yeah, generally when Bryan says something I don't like, I physically attack him, which is why he's so spicy on the podcast, because he needs to get it all out.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a safe space, because Niamh's my bodyguard.
Yep. No, I wouldn't cross Niamh. Not for a goddamn second.
Nope.
So, we've been away for a little bit.
We were on Christmas holidays, for the holidays. Happy holidays.
Mm-hmm.
The break.
I'm just back from MAGFest. I'm pretty jet lagged and I'm loopy as fuck. Niamh's been going through her own stuff. And Bryan's just fucking Bryan.
My New Year's resolution was to keep going at it.
Yep.
Did you make New Year's resolutions this year?
It was just to keep going with the consistency that I have, honestly, because it's working out well.
I kept trying to boil mine down, but it kind of amounts to stop doing all the things that are ruining your life.
Fair.
Yeah. But I also saw... Actually, you know what? We'll leave that one to the end, because that's a big one. Real quick, on the plane back from MAGFest, I watched 12 Angry Men.
Which one? The black and white one?
The black and white one.
That's a great film.
That's a great movie. But, not to shit over an all-American classic, I think that guy was a fucking murderer.
Probably.
Okay, so have you ever seen this, Niamh?
I don't think so.
So it's a jury in a hotel room, or in like a room, trying to decide if this kid is like a murderer or not. And at the start, they're all like, it's like one person who thinks he's innocent and the rest think he's like guilty. And it's that one person slowly turning the room to a not guilty vote.
I've seen the 97 version of this.
I wonder, is that any good?
It's full of
remember.
actors now that are like Me Too'd. You don't want
Oh
to.
my god, really?
Yeah, I don't know about that movie. I think that movie's got some it's probably got some disgusting men in it.
We'll say some problematic choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good movie. A lot of great character actors, but I think they let a fucking murderer walk out onto the streets.
Yeah, well, he'll murder again.
Because like some of the arguments, I was like, well, no, I don't think he couldn't have stabbed him like this because he would have held the knife like this. And the counter argument is, or he could have held it the other way. And it's like, I think you fuckers let a murderer walk.
I think when you're getting down to he could have held it two different ways. I mean, at some point he's still holding the knife and stabbing.
Yes, and I was appalled.
But like it reeled you in. It like caught your attention for the entire duration.
It totally killed an hour and a half on that plane.
Yeah,
like it's a great movie.
It's a really, really good stage play as well, because like it is just the actors in one room chewing up the scenery.
Yeah.
And each one of them gets a good like one. I did each get a chance.
Yeah.
To say their bit.
Yeah. No, they do, and like by the end of the film, you have like a decent idea who each of the 12 men are, which is pretty impressive. Like they're all characters, and it's only an hour and a half, so it's cool. Bryan, tell us about the mid-90s. What was going on that period? What was popular?
It's not the actual decade. Well, it is, but it's a film called
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
Yeah, Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Die.
Yeah.
The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Pogs,
man.
Furby.
Pogs,
you're talking about all these like as if they were in the past. These are still happening. Spice Girls are playing in Dublin this summer.
Are you going
if you don't have Posh, you don't have Spice Girls.
I don't know if Posh isn't there. Like my sister's going, and she was like, "Are you going to go?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like I do enjoy Victoria. She's really, really funny with the rest of them. She's the funniest one in the movie.
She really is. Like I wasn't into Posh, and then I saw the the movie, and I was just like, maybe she's the best one.
She was my fave right from the start because I was like, oh, she looks mean.
She's pretty snippy.
Yeah.
Mid-90s is a coming-of-age movie directed by Jonah Hill that takes place in the mid-90s.
That makes sense.
I really, really enjoyed this film. When I first saw the trailer and it was like, takes place in the 90s, has skateboard boys. Like, you saw it and you were like, Brian's gonna fucking eat this shit up.
Yep.
It's true. Like, I was so fucking... I was so excited to see this movie. But what I watched turned out to be way better than I expected. I thought it was going to be kind of like nostalgia porn because, you know, it's the 90s and they were going to, you know, just show you a bunch of shit from the 90s and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's a really, really good coming of age movie about a young boy coming into his early teen years.
Coming of age?
Yeah.
And like, is it a murder coming of age? Like, what's the
Dave,
hook?
I don't know how many murder coming of ages I've seen.
No, it's not a murder.
You just kind of went straight to that, didn't you?
I don't know. Coming of age movies are usually kind of boring to me unless there's like some kind of murder.
Although, you know what? Like Stand By Me, Mean Creek.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
Okay.
They find a body.
There is no murder in this film, but the whole idea is that because you're kind of conditioned to think that you think it's going to be way worse than you think. And like there are really difficult scenes in this film. Like things I was not expecting to watch and I was like, that's really awful. That's difficult. I'm kind of glad it's in the film because you never see that tackled ever.
Do you know, I think that's a little bit why I didn't connect with 8th grade. Because
Yeah.
I just felt like that was like a cute movie.
There's one difficult scene in that movie that's done really well.
Is it towards the end?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even get to that bit.
What?
I really wasn't into it. I was so bored.
Okay, I think maybe mid-90s might be more right.
It seems like it, yeah.
Because it stars an 11-year-old boy and he has an older brother who's like 17, 18, and he looks up to his older brother. His brother's nothing to do with him. So then he kind of seeks out a group of skater kids and he sort of kind of like he gets a skateboard off his brother and just sort of like just stands beside the skateboarders until eventually one of them goes, and what do you think? And he goes like, and then all of a sudden he's part of the gang.
Been there.
Which
Except
is
the part of the gang part.
yeah, which is such a natural way of like making friends with other boys when you're a teenager. Because like if you stand beside someone long enough, they become your friend. It's
Wow, that's a face, Niamh.
okay, but the thing is with these teenage boys, they are saying the vilest shit because they're teenage boys. Like their dialogue is disgusting, but
That's
it's
how we became friends, Niamh.
I
We
think
kept
there
standing
needs.
beside each other, and then eventually I wheeled up a trolley with some microphones in front of it, and then we just...
yeah. Like I
Brian,
was
keep
friend-
going, keep going, keep going.
For me, I was friends with John for about a year before he was friends with me.
That is true.
Yeah, like I was just like, this guy's great, and John was like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
Why does this person keep standing beside me?
Yeah, why is he in my
I
bedroom?
guess it works.
And then Bryan phoned me up one day and was like, I got 2 tickets to Nine Inch Nails. And I was like, oh, cool. Who are you bringing?
Was that the Marley in the Park one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at that.
I think we might have had this conversation before.
Yeah, okay.
And Bryan was like, you? And I was like, what?
Some fucking friendship that is.
Some fucking friendship it is.
Yeah.
Oh, this podcast, I swear to God.
I just think this film, I really, really don't want to spoil it because I do want everyone to see this movie. There's some difficult stuff in this film. Like, some of the stuff they say is really, really offensive. But they're not saying it in a nasty, spiteful way. They're saying it in a stupid teenage boy way. And they will grow out of it. And there's elements of them coming, you know, like maturing at the end. But it's an immature film.
Sure.
For that reason.
That stuff's always difficult because it's like, yeah, this is how this person would speak, but it's also like, oh, fuck, it's gross. But yeah, I think it's totally a case-by-case thing. It's really hard to say.
There's one scene in the film where they kind of approach it where, like, one character says sorry and thanks a lot, and another guy goes, you can't say that, that's gay. Which is such a fucking stupid teenage boy thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, someone goes, you can thank someone, that's like good manners. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you so much. Like, which is just, like, that you're waiting for someone else's approval.
Yeah.
And there's a whole thing about putting on an act when, like, you can't express yourself at all verbally. And one character is really, really, really good at it, but he's still kind of unsure about, like, letting other people know that he can do this and you can do this too. Which is a really cool thing you never see with movies like this. the main boy in it is the voice and motion capture for the boy in God of War.
Oh, I remember
weird.
you saying that. Yeah.
He's fantastic. I can't remember his name. Sonny Sofjack, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
SS.
Little
They're
SS.
his initials, yeah.
And is this like Jonah Hill's directorial debut?
Yeah.
Is he good? Does it look good?
Yeah. No, like it looks really good. Like it's shot in 16 mil. He says the two biggest influences are Larry Clark's Kids and Shane Meadows' This Is England, and you can tell. I love both of those films.
Did we talk about Maniac on this podcast?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Jonah Hill's very good in Maniac.
He's a cool guy.
He's like, the only problem is his next to Emma Stone, and she's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he's still very good in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Continue, Bryan.
Check out the trailer. You'll be like, oh wow, I recognize all this shit from my childhood, or
Unless you're one of those tiny heathen teenagers who listens to this podcast.
and in that case, maybe it's like an older cousin or uncle, which is kind of distressing. But maybe
Sometimes when I see how young our demographic, like how young some of the people are listening to this podcast, I'm like, oh no, we talk about like broken life shit.
I know, but like they need to know, and maybe we're some kids' uncle and aunties.
yeah, like I was saying before we started recording, we are all in our early 30s. We all now wear sweatpants.
Yep.
We wear some pretty dope ass sweatpants though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Like we don't phone it in. Like Niamh's wearing camouflage sweatpants right now.
We are in our comfiest baggies.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
Better believe it. Bryan, that sounds really cool. You have me highly intrigued.
Check it out.
Cool. Niamh, tell us about Bird Box.
So, Bird Box was the Netflix phenomena that was going on around Christmas period. Did either of you watch it?
No.
Nearly watched it a couple of times, never went near it.
I've been meaning
man.
to. I'll probably watch it at some point this
I
month.
don't know how you escaped it. It was just like, it was the
Well, I started
movie.
noticing YouTube videos with Bird Box in the title doing silly numbers.
Yeah.
Like just nonsense numbers.
And like Netflix never releases his numbers, but like Netflix were like, it's doing really well. Like, and you're like, okay, sure, we'll take your word for it, Netflix. But it's doing really well, specifically because Sandra Bullock is in it, and it kind of just appeared out of nowhere around the Christmas break. So people started watching it and tweeting about it because everyone was home and doing
like,
absolutely
you
nothing.
see that thumbnail and it's a woman with a blindfold
Yeah.
on, and you're like, what?
But why?
Yeah.
Why is she blindfolded?
Niamh, why is she blindfolded?
So this is kind of a pseudo horror film,
Okay.
I would say. And she's blindfolded because there is something in the world that if someone looks at it, it drives them.
Fucking excuse me?
It drives them insane to the point that they want to commit suicide.
This is the fucking missing.
I know, and this is why I was like, how have you not seen this? And Netflix will throw money at your bad movie. But yes, it is literally
They stole
The
my
Missing.
idea. Some rat fuck in Netflix listens to this podcast and stole my idea. And listen, if you're listening now, I'm gonna fucking find you. Okay, everyone else who listens to this podcast, stop listening. I only want the person who stole my idea to hear this part. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna fucking murder your family, buddy. Every last one of them. Grandma, little Stevie, Twitch the dog, everyone. Okay, everyone can start listening again now.
What's your dog called Twitch?
Yeah.
No, because he's like, oh, I stream on Twitch. Lying, thieving motherfucker.
Anyway, so Bird Box is the definition of a good bad movie. And it's good because Sandra Bullock is good. She is really, really, really good. She knows this is a Netflix movie, but she is acting this movie as if it's an Oscar movie.
But she's a professional.
Yeah, she's a professional, and she is doing a really, really good job. It's called Bird Box because in the same way that maybe a canary is brought down a miner's mine,
Oh, yeah.
the only thing that senses this entity that is driving people insane is the birds. And that plays into it later on in it, and I won't give too much away. I had a few issues with it plot-wise, and like it was funny because I watched it with my family, and after like we were engrossed and we're like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and then at the end of it,
Is it a person? Is it a fucking normal person?
at the end of it, my mom was like, "What do you think of it?" And we were all like, "That was shit." Like it's just like it kind of just falls apart the more you think about it.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the ending is very underwhelming.
It's not even the ending. It's like literally once you muse about the plot at all, it starts to fall apart. So again, there's this entity that if you set your sight on it, you will kill yourself. No one knows why, kind of thing.
And is it in a post-apocalyptic world?
It starts off in just your normal America, like everyday America. They're listening to reports and this thing has already gripped Europe. Like, it has started in Europe and it has come to America.
I think that's kind of fun, where it's like, this thing has already fucked up this other continent and it's coming here.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
So they don't know, and like Sandra Bullock's character is pregnant, and like that kind of leads into the kind of bigger themes in it. There is some issues that I think, like, when you start to ask questions, like, there's some people who don't instantly want to die when they see whatever this thing is. Some people turn evil. And the people who turn evil, they only ever suggest the reason they could turn evil is either, one, that they're mentally ill, or two, they've been incarcerated. So it's like they're inherently evil in some capacity, or they're mentally ill, which begs the question, like, what is this saying about mental illness and people who've been like imprisoned for whatever reason? Like, how bad does your crime have to be that you turn evil by this thing? And how pure do you have to be where you just drive yourself mad?
I know Sandra Bullock, like, didn't write the movie, but that would be in line with some other films she's done.
Yeah.
Like, there's some films I've seen Sandra Bullock in, and like, she'll like do or say lines, and I'm like, really, Sandra Bullock?
She's really good at, like...
Blindside is a fucking awful movie.
She really believes the lines. She's a great actress. Like,
she's a very good... And I don't like her. She's a very good actor.
The worst thing she's ever been in is Crash. She's in that movie for 2 whole minutes, and it's a fucking name on a poster.
I would say Blindside's real bad.
That film's also on Netflix. I've never watched it. Maybe I
fucking hate it so much.
Maybe I'll watch Bird Box and then Blindside.
Is kind of like... Blindside is right there with I don't know how she does it.
Wow.
I really want you to watch Bird Box, because I'd like to get into spoilers with it for sure.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Michelle's been on me to watch it as well.
It's like it really begs the question, like, what is it saying about, like, maybe mental illness? And there's a bit that I'm curious about. So this thing drives you mad. Children are also driven mad by it. Do children have the capacity and the mental understanding to be driven mad by seeing something that maybe is outside their comprehension?
Stop me if we get into spoilers, but is the idea that it has magic powers that makes you go insane, or is it just that it itself is so horrible?
You don't know.
And do you ever find out?
No, not really. So it's
I knew you wouldn't.
So it's not even about it.
So it's kind of like, is it like some kind of like they're seeing something that's so horrible, and I don't like the idea that it's this entity that is kind of like malicious and is just driving people insane for the fun of it, because like, what does this entity get out of that? But if it's just kind of like a secondary thing that happens when people spot this thing that's just existing, then it's kind of like, you know, it's like if you told a 6-year-old, for example, monsters exist, a 6-year-old would be like, all right, cool. You know, it wouldn't have the mental capacity to be like, I don't think you're right about that. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like,
they haven't lived on Earth long enough to prove it wrong.
But do you ever like hear about something and then see it, and like let me think of something. I can remember. I can remember this one time I went to the zoo in Lanzarote, and they had these tigers there. But these tigers, I think they were Siberian tigers, and they were fucking gigantic. Like, they looked like monsters from like a Final Fantasy game. Mm-hmm. Like, they were so huge. And I remember thinking, like, my God, like, you could never get that from seeing them on camera. It was weird. But maybe that's a bad example. But yeah, I get what you mean.
No, I get, like, yeah, I totally, and maybe I'm totally wrong, and maybe I'm not giving kids credit, but even like, say if kids experience like mental illness, it's usually like in like preteens kind of thing. So it just kind of like, it was weird to me, the idea that a child could be driven crazy by something beyond comprehension if maybe they don't even know what they need, that it's beyond comprehension.
The rules of reality haven't really set in for them. Sure.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But like, that's me nitpicking, and I'd love to go into more detail with you guys.
You had a good time with this movie.
I had a good time while watching it. I don't think it's a good movie.
Okay, sure. No, that's 100% fine.
So check it out.
Check it out. Bryan, tell us about Billy Bat.
Do you guys know what Billy Bat is?
No.
It's a manga by, it's co-written by Naoki Urasawa, who made Monster and
21st Century Boys,
20th Century Boys, Pluto, and a couple other ones. He's longtime mangaka, and he hosts Manga no Manben, and he's also a jazz musician.
He sure looks like a jazz musician.
He's a really, really, really interesting guy. This is a manga called Billy Bat that he wrote with another guy whose name I cannot remember. I'm so sorry, sir. I know you listen to this podcast. But Billy Bat was the manga that he made kind of at the beginning of this decade, I guess. It wrapped up a year or two ago. And I actually read it as it was coming out for a few months, but then I stopped and I went, I'll read this when it's done. So I've started reading it.
Is it done?
Yeah. And it is a character called Billy Bat, and he's sort of like Mickey Mouse meets like a Tezuka kind of design. And he's a cartoon bat, and he's in a detective comic. But then, and it does a couple of chapters of the detective comic, and it's all done in like, old style comics. But then it takes a step back, and it's about the mangaka that draws it. And then he discovers that someone else has been drawing this comic in Japan. And there's multiple versions of this bat. And this bat is a symbol, but it has a life of its own. And all of a sudden it goes into symbology, like a Dan Brown novel, where this bat controls and influences the direction of the world.
This sounds very 20th Century Boys.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm currently just finished the Kennedy assassination arc of the Billy Bat manga.
How serious is the manga taking this?
Pretty fucking seriously.
Okay, yeah.
But then, like, it's a cartoon bat, and he's like, hey, pull the trigger. And you're like, and he's like, what the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm the good bat. And then another bat will be like, I'm the bad bat. And then there's like, this isn't a really big spoiler because this is in the first volume, but like, it shows the moon landing and there's a bunch of astronauts up on the moon. And they're like, it's so peaceful out here. And then they look over and there's a drawing of the bat on the moon.
Shit.
They're like, who drew this?
I like this because I like mascots a lot. So the idea of this like mascot through time is cool.
But see, like, there's no Mickey Mouse in this story.
Yeah.
So then there's Billy Land, and like, there's even like a Walt Disney character who claims to have invented Billy Bat, but really he's like a puppet.
Is Urasawa writing it or drawing it?
Drawing it. So like, this is Urasawa as fuck. Like that. Like, if you've read any of his other manga, this has the exact same kind of like tropes and cliffhangers you're very familiar with. But it's kind of him poking fun of himself because
the other guy's the writer
as well. He's a co-writer.
Oh, okay, sure.
But like, it kind of feels it feels super meta because it's about a mangaka.
Yeah.
And his creation, but his creation wasn't his creation because it was actually whispering in his ear, telling him what to do. But he was predicting like stuff that would happen a year or two later,
right?
Through different characters. So there's a bunny rabbit in it, but it's Harvey Lee Oswald.
That sounds wild.
It's fucking weird.
You enjoying it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you finished it?
No, it's like fucking 20 volumes. There's a shit ton to read. I'm so excited. You know how you'll find like a manga and it's been around for years and you just get to fucking inhale it. And you get
I like that.
It's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
I love Urasawa's stuff, but it takes a heavy toll on you. So you kind of have to like read his stuff, then take a break for a year or two, and then read something different.
Yeah.
Worth checking out.
Yeah. Cool. So guys, Wrestle Kingdom 13 happened.
Is this Japanese wrestling?
This is New Japan's WrestleMania.
Okay.
Biggest New Japan event of the year. And it was cool. It was really, really cool. Main event was Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. And it's a weird one because, like, okay, I apologize to everyone who does not give a shit about wrestling. Tanahashi is this wrestler who's like basically the legend of New Japan. He's mainly credited with bringing New Japan out of this really dark age it suffered about 10-15 years ago, where like it was at an all-time low and they basically needed a star, and they got their star in Tanahashi, who's like this really super like buff beautiful man. Like he's very
he looks like a human lion.
Yeah, totally. And I think Tanahashi's amazing. He's really, really cool because he's quite old in the wrestling industry now. I'm not sure what age he is, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was like in it well into his 40s. But he still looks fantastic, and he still moves like fucking no one can move. Like he's just like, watching him wrestle is like there's no wasted movements at all. He's just perfect. And so it was him, like the classical era of New Japan, going against Kenny Omega, who's the new era of New Japan. And it was this kind of, that was the story. And it was a really, really good match because like Kenny Omega is like damn near the best wrestler in the world at the moment. And so seeing them two work together was just, it was fantastic, and it flowed so well. It was so beautiful. But it's hard because Tanahashi has this kind of match that I call like the Tanahashi match. He gets the shit beaten out of him for 30 minutes, and then he has the golden comeback right at the end. And I hate that story in wrestling, just because I think it's very traditional that, you know, the heel, that face makes a comeback in the last minute. And that's what this match ended up turning into. And I was so disappointed because I think by doing that, he reduces Kenny Omega to a Tanahashi heel as opposed to being his own character. And it was kind of a letdown. And it's weird to say that because the match is 45 minutes long. 44 and a half of those minutes are incredible. And now Kenny Omega has announced, well, he hasn't outright said he's leaving New Japan, but it seems very, very likely. As we're recording this, he hasn't said it. There's a bunch of interviews where it nearly seems like he said it, but he hasn't quite, where he's talking about...
I kind of heard this. WWE on the books for him?
I don't think so.
Really?
Apparently WWE, well, his contract is up with New Japan at the end of this month. Mm-hmm. WWE have made him what they called a fantastic offer. But the thing is, there's a new wrestling federation forming called All Elite Wrestling. And All Elite Wrestling is being kind of... The name on the books is Cody Rhodes, who's a wrestler who worked very heavily with Kenny in New Japan, and the Young Bucks, who are like his best friends. And it seems like they're going to make it go. They're going to actually like try and start their own wrestling federation, which is like... Starting a wrestling federation is about the only business I can think of that's more difficult than like starting a console. You know? It is nigh on impossible unless you have like, unless it's like Ireland where you have like a self-contained thing.
Yeah.
But so it seems like Kenny's going to go, I think he's going to go with them, and I don't think it would make sense for him to go with WWE because I don't think they'd be able to use him properly.
If the money was that good.
It would. Yeah, but the most important thing to Kenny Omega is wrestling.
Yeah, fair.
And, like, when you look at the people who have gone to WWE, like Shinsuke Nakamura went to WWE, they have, as far as I'm concerned, completely wasted him. Like, Asuka went to WWE. She was amazing. She's good right now, but she just had the worst year of her career.
She's paired up against Becky Lynch now.
Which is going to be awesome, but I think Becky Lynch is going to take the title, and that's the last we're going to see Asuka, which just breaks my heart. And like, I understand Becky Lynch is the most fucking popular wrestler in the world right now, but Asuka, I just feel like there's so much more they could do with her that they haven't done.
Yeah, she's a character. Like, it's cool.
Oh, she's brilliant. And like, she's just such a fantastic wrestler. But overall Wrestle Kingdom was super cool. There was a match with Kota Ibushi and Bryan. Do you remember we saw him Will Ospreay?
Yep.
We've seen him twice, once against Matt Riddle, once against Walter.
Yeah, he's great.
Do you remember that match against Walter, though? And I was saying what I didn't like about it was just like big move, big move, big move, big move, and very little story.
Yes.
That's exactly what this was. And it, like, I kind of...
Just chipping away.
Like, he's an amazing wrestler. Like, he can... Like, he does all this, like, high-flying backflip shit that literally, like, is just incredible. But I find so rarely his matches tell stories, and then you put him in with Kota Ibushi, also one of the greatest wrestlers in the entire world, and you kind of waste that. Wrestling's in a weird spot right now, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with All Elite Wrestling, but also WWE has the lowest ratings it's ever had.
That's nuts. I feel like I've only heard more and more in the last like year about more and more people talking about it and getting jazzed about it.
The women's stuff has been amazing. The men's shit has been kind of terrible. There's been some really good stuff with like Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, but there's been a lot of shit. But what's really weird, and this is where wrestling gets so meta and strange, they had like a new like commissioner, and they blamed the bad ratings in storyline on the commissioner, and had a bunch of wrestlers beat the shit out of him.
Nice.
Yeah. So nuts.
It's... Wrestling's weird, and it will continue to be so. But yeah, overall, Wrestle Kingdom had a lot of really, really good matches as well. So, yeah. Bryan.
Yeah?
I think there might be a mistake here. You have the video game Black Mirror Bandersnatch in our strategy talk section.
Yeah, I'll talk about this one quickly because there's so much shit. I watched the I've seen all of Black Mirror. I think I'm the only person out of the three of us who still watches it regularly.
I've seen it all. But
have you seen it all?
Michelle likes it.
I take it for what it is, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid show. I enjoyed this episode. Niamh, you didn't think much of it?
No. I'll let you explain why you like it, and then I'll tell you why I didn't like it.
See, that sounds polite, but that's actually super fucking mean, because then you get to dismantle everything he says.
Yeah, this is an old Niamh tactic right here.
She always does this.
She's like a message user where like someone like says a bunch of stuff and then she'll quote break it down.
That's so dickish, but yes.
Niamh is a real life YouTube comment.
Yeah. I thought the decision-making stuff was pretty seamless. It just pushes up a little letterbox and you pick choice A or choice B. And I played it, I watched it over Christmas on Netflix on my PS4. So it was a PS4 controller. I don't know what it's like with a remote. I guess remotes have like up and down arrows.
My brother couldn't play it on the TV just using a TV remote.
Really?
Yeah, but you can play it on PC and with like PlayStation. Maybe it was just whatever setup he had that he couldn't do it, but it wasn't working for him. He couldn't select it.
I think I watched every ending because I was entertained while watching it. Stupid, but...
How many decisions are there?
There's about 6 to 7 endings.
Yeah.
So over an hour and a half, you're like picking one every 15 minutes.
Yeah, and like it's got like 2 kind of like good bad endings, and it's got like a joke ending and everything, you know, like you would with a video game.
Yeah.
There's one character in it played by Will Poulter, and he plays like a senior game developer with like bleach peroxide hair, and he's constantly smoking. And he's this actor. He's in Son of Rambo and a couple of other stuff. But he has like an interesting looking face where he has very pointed eyebrows and a puffy cheeks. And
he looks like a Jamie Hewlett drawing.
Yeah. And he kind of also looks like Sid from Toy Story, because I've seen where people have drawn over Sid from Toy Story with the hair and the cigarette. But his voice kind of sounds like a cross between Michael Caine's voice and Richard Ayoade from IT Crowd and stuff like that.
And David
Beckham, where he's like, Pac-Man, PAC, Program and Control.
We're all being controlled, like Pac-Man. Is he free? No, he's not.
You're inside a machine right now, you fucker.
You think you're free, but you're not. You're just trapped.
I'm having such a good time with this.
I'm going to jump off the balcony, mate.
Don't take your meds.
That guy had to leave Twitter.
Yeah, he got fucking gross.
God.
And like he was like, I'm gonna take a break from Twitter. In the meantime, here's a bullying website. Like, just I felt real bad for the guy because he is a good actor.
Yeah,
like,
he's really good. He's like the best character in it.
Yeah, he's really funny. The only other like FMV like choose your own adventure thing I played is The Bunker. And Niamh prefers The Bunker to this.
The Bunker is a better experience.
The Bunker is not a better. The Bunker is like
wasn't that our last, like the first game we cut in 2017?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, see, like to me, The Bunker, when like it brings up a choice, the game kind of like skips for a second. It really breaks the seam of it. But I found like when it gives you a choice, it kind of fades it in and out very, very smoothly. I was impressed with that.
The first choice in Bandersnatch is what cereal do you want? And
yeah,
it's like Sugar Puffs or Frosties.
You know, I
love that.
I'm getting really sick of that in like choice stuff when it's like the first choice is really inconsequential because it's like, do you get it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, we get how it plays, but also like if you think about it in terms of Netflix as a platform, it's talking about advertising as well. It's just like what account picked what cereal, because later on in Bandersnatch it plays an advert for the cereal on a TV. It plays like if you pick Frosties you get the Frosties advert, if you pick Sugar Puffs you get
they're
Sugar
actual
Puffs.
Cereals.
Yeah, real like it's in universe advertising, which I didn't like.
I love
at
that.
all. No,
I love products.
Can I shit on this now?
Sure.
Brian,
So
no, hang on, Brian.
I have nothing good to say about it. Like it's stupid.
But you liked it. You can't be like, I like it. I have nothing good to say about it. I'm pretty sure you have actually said that exact sentence.
I do. I like this, but like I'm not gonna fucking defend it. I'm not gonna die on a mountain for this fucking.
What's it about?
This is the problem.
1984.
Okay. Can I go now?
Yes.
Okay.
Developing a video game on your own.
So this is the problem I have with it. So it's like, I think what's cool about it is it brings FMV games to a larger platform. But that is exactly what it is. It's an FMV game, but it's using Netflix to distribute it. So a lot of people who haven't played FMV games before are just like, oh, cool, FMV game. And that's where that kind of begins and ends. So what this is about, it's kind of a period piece. It's set in the, is it 90s or 80s?
1984.
84, and it's about a company who's making video games. You play as this guy who's getting an internship at a company to make his own video game based on a novel called Bandersnatch. And the game is a choose your own adventure game. And the book Bandersnatch it's based on was written by a kind of lone genius who killed his wife by beheading her.
Right.
So, I think Black Mirror is best when it makes you ruminate on something. It gives you a question, it gives you a premise, and it makes you go, was that good or bad? You know, so say you've like San Junipero, and it's like the idea is you can live forever after you die by uploading your consciousness to this like program. And there's some people who think it's a bad idea because when the body dies, you should die. And there's this kind of moral consequence of, is it good or bad? You've got other stuff like the Star Trek one, where it's kind of like, it talks about taking a copy of someone and making a living person. They're not the real person, but they do have consciousness. And
making them a prisoner, yeah.
Yeah, what is the moral consciousness?
The robot one?
Kind of, yeah, a little.
Whoa, those are two separate episodes.
But
there's not a lot of variety in Black Mirror anymore.
But it does give you these kind of like, maybe, and it makes you question technology. It makes you think about the future of technology. With Bandersnatch, it's like, what is the question that is being posed? And to me, the biggest question it's being posed is, what is the future of Netflix? Are we going to get more FMV games? Are they going to do targeted advertising based on our choices? And that was the big come away I had from it, is like, how will they use this in the future? Because this is not the last one of these we will see. This is the first one of these we will see.
Okay, was that the medium or was that the message?
It was both.
Okay.
Because I don't think, like, it kind of grasps at themes. And I think the themes are themes of control. So the player character you're playing as starts to recognize that he's being controlled by a player. Or by someone else. And there's even a route where you can tell him it's Netflix that's controlling him. And he goes, what the fuck is Netflix? And you have to explain to someone in the 80s that there's a streaming
weird
thing. And like, you're kind of like, this is cool, but it's also like, does it dilute the message that, like, you know, Black Mirror message where you're kind of doing advertising for the platform within it? And then like that route kind of ends up where they're all actors, and it's like this is boring, so it ends up to being an action kind of thing. And you know, what I didn't like about it, and like, again, you have this idea of like non-control and non-player choice in a player choice thing, is that you have no real choice. You have to kill your dad in every outcome. Every single outcome begins with you killing your dad. And it just depends what rating your game gets. So you can get a 0-star, you can get a 5-star. And you're basically, I guess the good ending is getting a 5-star.
Yep.
So to get a good ending, you have to chop up your father into tiny pieces. Because the original creator of Bandersnatch chopped off his wife's head.
See, the game makes you, like, this fictional Bandersnatch thing makes you fucked up, man.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the game playing you as much as you are playing it?
No. Not at all.
It occupies your attention, and then when it's over, it's over.
So you can kind of like maybe think, maybe this is a comment on like kind of, because at the start of it, like the guy who's creating the game goes, I'm basing it on Bandersnatch, and one of the other character goes, isn't that the guy who killed his wife? And he goes, oh yeah, well that's what some people remember him for. And maybe like
let's not let politics get in the middle of this.
Yeah, and maybe it's about maybe forgiving creators or like these geniuses for these horrible crimes they commit because their product was so good. But it doesn't really drive that home either. But again, to get 5 stars, you do have to chop up your dad. So is it a condemnation of like a lone genius who's kind of like fucked, but his product was good? And another aspect I didn't like is, at the start of it, you get the choice to work in a team to create Bandersnatch. You get to work in a company and stuff, but that makes it feel like work from committee and kind of stuff. And you get a 0 rating, and the game just ends because you decided to work with other people. And
well, the boss is like a sleaze. Like
but the issue was like it was a bad deadline, not because he worked in a team.
Yep.
You know?
Get it out by Christmas.
Yeah, like, let's get it out by Christmas. But the review and the end game state was like, this is the first team game made by the company and it's bad, so 0 out of 5. So kill your dad and get a 5 out of 5 and live forever.
Right.
So,
I get it. I get it. I see where you're coming from.
So my issue was it kind of put a lot of ideas on the table, but never really pushed one of them and never criticized one, never really commented on one. There was also another bit where you're taking your medication because the character you're playing as has been dealing with depression or mental illness because his mother died and he blames himself. To progress, you need to throw away the medication. And I think that's kind of a bit of a fucked up message to be like creative. And like we can go into like, Kanye West talking on Twitter about how he can't take his medication because he's not as creative and stuff like that. And like, it's kind of like, there's a lot of things, intense things it touches on, but never goes for.
Yeah.
The two choices
kind
are
of like the BioShock Infinite thing where it's like, racism, right?
Yeah, it kind of poses a lot of questions. It has so many balls in the air, but it never focuses on one. And then at the end of it, I guess I'm left thinking, I guess what this is wanting me to think about is Netflix as a platform for FMV games rather than anything I've actually played.
Do you think they'll do more FMV things?
Totally. I've heard about games being developed for Netflix for years, but I haven't seen it until this one.
I really hope they don't do any more. I'm fine with it just being this weird experiment.
Well, I think
I think it's just a gimmick.
Like in a bigger sense, streaming is the next big thing for games.
Yeah.
And you wonder, are Netflix looking at that?
Maybe it's a thing where you could be able to stream these kind of experiences if they're like commissioning people to make these kind of game things. I just thought it was like a bad FMV game, and all it stood for it was the fact it was on Netflix, and that was about it.
Right.
So that's my feelings on Bandersnatch.
I just wanted to talk about it real quick as well.
Brian, how about we tell us about the favourite?
Have you seen The Favourite?
No, I'm going this weekend. I'm so excited.
Maybe we should wait until the next episode.
Okay.
The Favourite is really good. Dear listener, if you haven't seen The Favourite, maybe you should see it too, and then
What's it about?
Lesbians.
Sold.
Yeah, it's about a bunch of lesbians.
Period drama lesbians.
A bunch of lesbians in a fucking palace, like, just fucking ruining each other.
So we all saw Into the Spider-Verse.
We certainly did.
Hell yeah.
Just felt there was a real kind of laziness to this movie. Felt visually they just weren't trying, just same old shit again. Just kind of looks like a Pixar movie. Just no appeal.
Didn't even push the bar once.
No, they didn't really.
A very uninspiring film.
Yeah, I hate to get personal, but I would say the animators working on this movie are lazy people. Just
who do not understand visual language or color.
No,
I don't think they've ever done animation. Maybe this is their first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they... Yeah.
Maybe they should stick with the Emoji Movie.
Absolutely. Now, you know what? There was a movie.
Yeah.
I went to that and I just laughed. And the bit where they go to fucking Twitter...
Guys, we need to stop. Americans don't understand sarcasm.
Some guy's like, you guys just don't like Spider-Man. Dude, we love Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse is pretty good.
This film's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think it's my favorite superhero movie, and I think it might be one of the best animated films I've ever seen, if not the best.
Visually, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited watching this movie. This felt like watching Toy Story or something. It was fucking cool.
I felt like this movie, it showed how lazy 3D animation has gotten. And when I say lazy, I don't mean the people working on the movies, because obviously, what a tough field to work in. Stylistically, and just kind of, I even feel like stylistically is nearly a disservice. It's like there's so much creativity in these, it's incredible.
But just the way they would explain a scene to you, and it's done in a non-traditional way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like a perfect triac structure. It is super solid. But the way they express everything is such a mix of graphic design and animation and a kind of reverence for just 2D mixed with 3D mixed with just like color and life and really just visual design. Every character had their own color. Every moment had its own feel to it. It was just such a designed movie from top to bottom.
And even like the weakest parts of the film were still like extremely solid. Nitpicks is the most I would ever kind of have with it. But I really loved how Kingpin looked.
Oh,
just a big fucking square with this little
my
angry
favorite
face
character.
in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's so good. He filled the whole screen, and this is the thing that I don't think I like about the MCU. Is like comics and illustration can capture the concept of a character like Kingpin. They can make him huge. They can make him a face in a square in a comic. And when you bring that over to live action, and they did a good job of it in Daredevil season 1, he looked big and he looked intimidating.
Yeah.
But you can never capture the kind of graphic majesty of that kind of stuff outside of like animation or illustration or comics. And I just love how Spider-Verse was just like, we're going to do that. We're going to push this and make this shapes. We're going to make it we're going to graphically show you this character in such a stylized way, and it's something that I think will make people fall in love with animation, will make new animators happen. I found it like just totally inspiring in every capacity.
It was, yeah.
My favorite, I like some of the other bad guy designs, like how Green Goblin was like an actual
huge.
like
So
like
cool.
a fucking Balrog
It was
demon.
so cool that it wasn't just like the Green Goblin.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
like.
wish we'd seen the lizard in it though.
Yeah, I loved Doc Ock.
Yeah,
She was fantastic.
Just I love the tentacles and how they were like a muscle, like a transparent muscle rather than a mechanical tentacle, and that they could kind of like stretch and squeeze like an octopus, because the whole thing with octopus is they could fit through tiny gaps, and these tentacles could do the same thing. They could stretch and shapeshift. It was like this hard rubber balloon.
I love the comedic timing of everything. Like there was some really funny moments.
I love the editing. You know, like the bit where he goes up on top of the building, and it's like in the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, where he's going to web sling across the building, and it just hard cut edits to him walking down the staircase.
That was so good. Yeah.
I was like, this is a like
they know what they're doing.
I was like, this movie has got my complete respect. Like that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Really hope that people go see this movie.
Yeah.
Because like animators will rave about it. Like comics fans will rave about it. It's not doing well.
Yeah. I really, really want to show this movie to my parents, because like they need to see it.
I think it was your Rebecca Niamh which said something on Twitter like she can't wait to see how many future animators this movie like creates, and that's very true. About the movie not doing well, that does suck, because like Aquaman is doing way better.
Yeah.
That's
but
shock.
also I think this is going to be a Pacific Rim where in cinemas, when it comes out on Blu-ray, everyone.
I think anyone who wants to go to animation college, anyone who's interested in graphic design, anyone who's interested in comics, you need to see it.
Yeah, like I can imagine if I had seen this before or during college, especially, I would have been like, oh my god, animation has so much fucking potential. Holy, like, it just makes you realize how much we have not achieved with animation.
The medium of animation is special because you can push things.
Yeah. I like that it would make these kind of like rules, but then it would stick to them. So when something is out of focus, they don't blur it. Rather, they RGB split it.
Yeah.
So that your eye ignores it and it looks at what's filled in correctly in lines.
Crazy.
Because it stays true to the comics that way.
It's amazing.
A lot of the backgrounds, like it's like Photoshop, like painting over like 3D images.
So they're just using the concept art, but they're not changing it beyond it. They're not retweaking it or modeling it from the ground up from a Photoshop image. They're actually just dragging and dropping it in.
They did like some of the 3D animation on like 2 frames per second. They use smears. They use 2D techniques on 3D animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I've seen the 3D smears was in Guilty Gear. I will never get bored of that. I think that looks so fucking cool.
They do a cool thing as well in Lego Batman, actually, where the smears are made out of Lego bricks, but they have to use...
I think that was in regular Lego movie as well.
Yeah, it is. But I do like that some 3D movies out there will make rules and they'll kind of use those rules throughout.
Yeah.
And if there's a problem they need to solve, they have to use these rules that they've made themselves.
There are 2 things I didn't like about it.
What?
Why are you so annoyed?
I'm not annoyed. I'm just curious.
Okay, and these only stood out because I enjoyed the rest of it so much. Like, these to me are what kept it at a 9 when I really wanted it to be a 10. There's a part where like all the other Spider-Men are like, Miles, you can't do it. That part felt really kind of just flat to me. I thought they could have hit with a harder emotional punch for that, rather than them all just like pushing him over to rap music for a minute and a half.
Yeah, honestly, to be honest, yeah.
Then the second thing, what's the name of the Japanese Spider-Girl? With the mech?
Penny.
Yeah, Penny Parker.
And Spider-Ham. Reduce them to a 20-second cameo. Give the rest of their time to Noir and Gwen.
Fair, yeah. Gwen is going to get a lot of more time in her. Like they're doing a all-female spider crew, and I think Gwen
really?
is. Yeah, I think
in
Gwen
like a
is.
Movie?
Yeah, because like there's a lot of like female spiders. Like there's like Spider-Woman, which I thought it was interesting.
And Madam Web, don't forget her.
Yeah,
Madam Web's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Gwen calls herself Spider-Woman, but she's Ghost Spiders because there is a Spider-Woman. So I think that will come up, hopefully as a joke in this new one.
Just for the benefit of that movie, to me, Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man Noir were so much more compelling than the other two. The other two were like a cute visual joke, but they weren't anything more than that. Every time Spider-Man Noir said something, I was like, ha ha ha, like I loved it. And then Spider-Gwen was just, I feel like they could not have nailed that character any harder.
Who's Spider-Noir?
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I think that's his best role. He was genuinely funny and engaging.
He was like endearing and sad and hilarious. Like he was brilliant.
I thought he was great. I was just like, wow, I think this is.
I really like the
Nicolas Cage
voice
makes
acting.
a really excellent, like kind of broken superhero.
Yeah,
like him as Big Daddy
in what's it called? Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
that's his best. That's my favorite.
I think I get Nicolas Cage. Yeah. Like after seeing a few more movies, I think I get it because I used to be really annoyed conceptually. Really cool. I know, but like as animators, people love Nicolas Cage.
I hate that Nicolas Cage joke where it's like, imagine Nicolas Cage was in this movie. Yeah.
He's really, really aware of all that stuff too. He's like, I just really like overacting.
I think he's a really talented actor.
One of my favorite bits of acting is Miles' dad talking to him through the door. Bit is so good. His voice actor is Paperboy from Atlanta.
Fuck, Michelle's gonna flip.
That's a copy.
Yeah.
And then his uncle is in True Detective season 3.
Oh.
That's coming out in a couple of days. He's in Moonlight as well. I can't remember his name.
There's
Mahershala Ali.
There's a twist in that movie which we won't get into. It fucking got me.
Yeah, it got me.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that coming.
I saw it coming, but there was a moment.
I felt stupid for having not seen it.
Yeah.
There was a moment when Miles realizes it that my heart broke, and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy in this moment, and that was like heartbreaking. That's a good movie.
It's a very good movie. Very, very good movie.
I liked Peter B. Parker as well. His voice actor is one of the guys from New Girl, and he just sounds really fucking like. He just says his lines, and they probably just used the first take because he just like he's not trying. It's perfect.
I thought he was fantastic, and I think the fact that we're only talking about him now at this point in the conversation is a testament to how good the rest of the movie is.
Yeah. He was great, and like I think maybe it's because we're at the age we are now, but I really, really like the mentor characters. I really appreciate them, and I thought he was a very good like. Reluctant mentor.
Yeah, he was totally.
Then blonde Peter Parker. I think he's voiced by Chris Pine, which I think is good choice as well. What movie. Everyone should go see it. Could have been. I don't know.
Yeah. If you can't see it in the cinema, buy it on Blu-ray. Please support it. I think animation needs it.
If you listen to this podcast and you haven't seen it,
we're very disappointed in you.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Especially.
Stop listening to us. Go see the movie. How dare you?
Please go see it.
Good movie. Okay, to round off this extremely long portion of the podcast, guys, I went to MAGFest.
What's that?
It's the Music and Games Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Taking place in National Harbor, Washington, D.C. And this was my 4th year going to MAGFest. I started going to MAGFest before YouTube, and it's been weird, like, gradually rising in that scene and watching the experience of MAGFest change since then. It was really nice. It was overwhelming as fuck. I did a meetup, and there were a lot of Let's Fight a Boss fans at that meetup, and it was really cool, but it was also 3.5 hours. So if you were towards the end of that queue and I was a little loopy by the end. I do apologize about that, but it was so fucking weird because basically, like, I have this place, I usually do it in the lobby, and I was like coming down the escalator and I saw this massive crowd of people and I was like, oh fuck. And then they saw me and they all started clapping and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, they are. I think my biggest testament to my success is that meetup was bigger than the Bowsette meetup.
Well, yeah, okay.
No, fuck you, Niamh. That's impressive.
Who
the fuck goes to a Bowsette meetup? It's not even a real character.
You know, okay, you know that crown?
Yeah.
That's in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. They've said that it only works on Toad Ash.
Fuck you, Nintendo, you goddamn cowards.
They have like made a canon that crown would not work on Bowser.
What's even at that meetup?
A bunch of Bowsette cosplayers.
Sweet.
Those are brave women.
And men.
And
men. Jesus Christ, Niamh. Anyway, but it was really cool. But then instantly the MAGFest staff were like, "What the fuck is this?" And they were really nice. Like, they helped me kind of organize it then, so it wasn't like a complete shit show or a fire hazard. But that went on for a while, and then when mine was done, the best friends one was on. Their one went on for 7.5 hours.
That must have been exhausting, especially considering, you know, the current situation. Like, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to, you know, have a good time.
And for the most part, I thought people were really cool about it. I was walking around with Uli at some point, and at some point, a guy came up to him and was like, not pushing him on it, but stepping over the line. And I could tell, like, Uli was getting annoyed, and I felt real fucking bad for him. But it was MAGFest gets more surreal every year, and this was maybe the most surreal because just like the amount of people I met, and it's like it's nearly kind of difficult to know how to explain it because it's really, really weird. But I did also do some cool things at MAGFest. There was one point, this was around 2 or 3 a.m. in one of just the giant hallways of MAGFest, and I was at one of the raves, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool, this is fun or whatever. And next thing, Yu Yu Hakusho's Smile Bomb started playing.
Sweet.
And I just look around the room, and most people in the room are like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I see 3 guys losing their fucking minds. So I run over to them, and we all dance the hardest I've ever danced. And there was that line, with strangers wherever I go. And we were all strangers, and we all sang that part and then hugged. And it was just really beautiful. And it made me so happy. I have a video of it, but I'm never going to upload it anywhere.
John's a great dancer.
He is. He can dance like a motherfucker.
Yeah, one of the most alarming aspects of, like, when I was first getting to know John, we were, like, at this club or whatever, and people were dancing, and he just dropped to the floor and started breakdancing. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know he could do that, but I guess he can.
He could tear that shit up.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, I like dancing. But, and that was really, really fun. Again, I always wish I could have gone more to the MAGFest nighttime events, and this was definitely the most I'd ever gone to. But it's hard because you get over there and you're jet lagged, and then you get fucking blind drunk every night, and you're really hungover the next morning. But man, shit gets weird after like 2 a.m. at MAGFest. Like, really, really weird. People are not wearing a lot of clothes.
Sweet.
You're just making sure your eyes don't go anywhere they shouldn't be, and it gets kind of wild.
Jonathan, did you see someone's willy?
No, I didn't.
7 willies.
No.
How many willies did you see?
I didn't see any willies.
6.
I didn't see any willies. I saw like
9.5.
I saw more of people than.
Did you see anyone's fanny?
What's a fanny? Is that a butt?
Are you American now? You know what a fanny is. It's a tit.
What is a fanny's not a tit, is it?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Okay, no. Okay, I saw a lot of ass and I saw a lot of titties, and like on men and women.
Class.
But I always felt like, oh shit, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
People should invite us to MAGFest. Me and Brian want to go.
Yeah.
Well, let's just fucking go next year. Do you know the amount of fucking Let's Fight a Boss fans I met? We're like, oh, it's sad that Bryan and Niamh aren't here, and I'm like, fuck you.
If you would like us to be at a con, Shout at the con.
They're never a con will never fly 3 people over unless
yeah,
they're
but
the
if
fucking...
they fly 1.5, we can do the rest through like Patreon or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but
we'll figure something out. But I am really going to make a push for us all to go to MAGFest next year because it would be great.
Yeah, I want to see those titties.
Yeah, me too. Want to see that fanny?
9.5 fannies.
Guys, I'll tell you after the podcast, but it's also pretty good fannies. But that was really, really fun, and it was really good. And I met Little V again.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
Such a sweetheart. He listens to this podcast now.
Hey V, what's up?
Big shout outs to V. What a lovely man. But I think one of my favorite things that happened over the course of the con was I played Secret Hitler. Have you ever heard of this, Niamh?
No, gotta explain this.
Okay. So,
John, be careful now because it does have the word Hitler in it.
Yeah.
I know it has the word Hitler and fascist, and I was like, when was this fucking game made? Because like, you can't joke about that, man. I used to love a good Nazi joke back in the day. Fucking can't do that shit anymore because they're real again.
John, could you tell us your favorite Nazi joke on the podcast?
Okay.
Oh, John, this is what Secret Hitler.
Okay, no. Real quick, I named my cat Blitzkrieg. But that was not really a joke, but that was because I just thought it's a cool word. But now Nazis came back and I can't call him that anymore. So I just called Bert.
Blitzkrieg was the nickname for the German Air Force during World War II, is it?
Blitzkrieg was a tactic that
the
German Air Force used.
Yeah.
I named my pet rat Bismarck. He was a U-boat.
We've totally been here before.
Yeah, we've been here.
Anyway, yeah, so Secret Hitler. The way it works is, so we were playing with about 8 people, and the rules change dependent on how many people are playing, but when it's 8 people, I think it's... so... You all close your... You have to, like... You all get dealt a card, and it shows you're, like, whether you're a liberal or a fascist.
Oh my god, this game is... Okay.
That's so black and white.
Yeah, okay.
Niamh, I have ordered this game, and we're going to play it.
Sweet.
Yep. And so then, anyway, everyone closes their eyes, and the people who are fascists all have to open their eyes, and they get to see who each other are. Then... But not all of them. One of them keeps their eyes closed, and that person is Hitler. And it's the fascist job to get Hitler elected into office.
Oh.
And so then you all open your eyes and say if you're a liberal, you don't know who's fascist and who's liberal. So you're trying to figure out who your allies are and who's not. And there's like all these little subtleties. So like basically the way it works then is that there's all these, you pick 3 cards from a deck. And so say I'm the president.
Okay.
I have 3 cards. Some of them might be liberal, some of them might be fascist. And so say I get 2 liberal and 1 fascist. Then I have to give them to you, Niamh. This might get a little complicated, but I'm going to try my best. And then you get to put one through. You get to decide which one goes through. And it's like 1st to 5 on the liberal cards and the fascist cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
But say I'm a fascist. I'm like, okay, I'm going to discard the liberal card and slide you over 2 fascist cards. And you'll be like, what the fuck? Now I have to put down fascist. And I have to be like, got 3 fascists. Don't know what to tell you.
Oh, I see.
Or...
So it's a game of deceit and
maybe,
lies.
Maybe you're a fascist. And I slide over you a liberal card and a fascist card, and you put the fascist card down, and I'm like, what the fuck? I gave you a liberal and a fascist, and you're like, no, you didn't.
I'm not sure you did.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it's. And then there's all these little.
This sounds fun because I love lying.
There's so much lying.
I love telling lies.
But then there's all these little nuances. Like the more fascist cards go down, the more crazy things get, because then you can start to ask like, okay, I want to see if you're a liberal or a fascist, and they have to hand you an envelope with which one they are in it. You open it up and you look at it, and so a girl I was playing with called Rachel, she asked to see whether I was a liberal or a fascist, and not only was I a fascist, I was fucking Hitler. And she just, and she's not allowed to show the card to anyone, and so she just saw it and she goes, John's a fascist, and I was like, fuck, and then I was like, no, I'm not. You're a fucking fascist. And I was like, that is insane. I'm actually a liberal and she is a fascist. And she had no way of proving to people that I was fascist, and it was really...
And you're a very good liar.
I'm a very good liar. And there was a part... It was so much fun like that. It does kind of fuck you up, because like, we played this game for like 3 hours, and by the end of it, someone would be like, okay, I'm going to go get a drink. And I'd be like, would they? Are they? But the best round of it by far that we played was me and Wooly fucking went at each other, because I was a liberal and I knew he was a fucking fascist. I could just tell. But then he was the exact same way with me. He was like, you're a fascist. And this was like 30-40 minute game, and all the way through I could see him manipulating and turning the wheels and just turning everyone against him. Then it comes down to the final play of the game, and neither of us are fascists. We were both liberals, and like the quiet girl next to me, Wooly's fiance, she was Hitler, and we couldn't believe it. And like I said it to Wooly after, it was like getting to chapter 6 of a JoJo stand battle, only to realize that neither of us had stands. And like that round shocked us so much that like I had to step away from the table and just hold my head in hands, because like you get so sure about who's your enemy and who's your ally, and when that gets flipped in the final round, you cannot fucking believe it. And it is so much fun. Literally ordered it this morning. It's going to be here soon. We're going to play.
What's the minimum player?
I think the minimum players is 4.
Cool.
And I think the maximum is 11.
That's good.
And I think 8 or 9 is kind of the sweet spot.
Let's do this.
But yeah, it was really, really cool. And yeah, I got to just hang out with a bunch of cool people. Shout out to Nikki, Austin, Rachel, Wooly, Steph. Good folk.
Hey
everyone
hey
who
guys.
asked for Let's Fight a Boss, you're kind of the better people.
There was kind of no one, honestly.
No,
there was like maybe one person who was like, do you have a podcast? And I was like, no. And they're like, oh, cool.
To all you Niamh and Bryan fans who don't really care about Josh Jam, whatever he's called, you're the
real MVPs.
Yeah, you get it.
You get it.
Strategy talk. Okay, Bryan, me and you played a ton of games.
We
Niamh,
did.
You played one. But I imagine Niamh probably played the same amounts of game, because that's what you do, Niamh. You dig into one game.
Yeah, for
where
sure.
Me and Bryan are like, ooh, let's me sample these delights.
Yeah.
I like to have a meal.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I had a lot of tapas.
Bryan, why don't you tell us about your first tapa, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
I played a lot of that over Christmas. Been playing a lot of it lunch breaks as well at work. Really, really enjoying it.
Who's your main?
Pac-Man. Also,
non-Nintendo character.
Yeah.
Then I'm really, really, really good as Ridley, but I don't want Ridley to be my main. I want Pac-Man to be my main.
Mm-hmm.
He's so much fun to play as, and I want a Pac-Man amiibo, but they're kind of hard to get unless you want to pay a lot for it.
Yeah.
I got Nintendo Online. I'm on that now for the next year. I've been playing Smash Online, and I've had no problems with it.
No, it's been good.
Have you been winning?
Oh yeah, I've actually got a good win ratio. I'm doing okay.
I think I'm about 50-50.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just playing whatever matches I get. And yeah, I'm doing good.
Smash Bros. Is good. So guys, I played Thumper.
Oh, so this is the rhythm game.
With the weird beetle.
Do you remember that conversation we had a while ago about how non-Euclidean geometry really fucks us up?
Yeah.
Someone made a game out of that, and it's a nightmare.
Just shiny, perfectly smooth geometric shapes.
Moving at high speeds.
Really horrifying. Just and it feels really violent, but there's no blood or gore.
Yeah, it's just speed.
Yeah, it's
aggressive metal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the aesthetic of this game would not be my thing personally. The music that's playing would not be my thing personally, but the way it fuses, I think this game is one of the most underrated games of the generation. It's fucking amazing. I zone out so hard, and it's so singular. This game is such a bad idea, but it just works so beautifully. And I really wanted to actually play some with you guys tonight, but it's too late now. We'll do it another time. But it's incredible. And what's so cool about it is it's a rhythm game, right? But there's no on-screen prompts. All your actions are dictated by visual indicators. If you see these kind of barriers blocking the track, you have to do this one thing.
Okay.
If you turn in the track, you have to do this other. If you see these spikes, that's another thing. And it's but those visual indicators also hook up perfectly with the music.
Yeah.
So it's this, it's probably not the correct term, but synesthesia kind of thing, where it's you just get everything audio and visually you have to play. Like there's sometimes when the track starts to turn too fast, and I have to listen to the music to know when to turn, because visually it's like I can't see and I can't process it quickly enough. It is so cool. If you haven't seen it, you're a little beetle. You're going along these tracks. You have to avoid things. You have to fight bosses. It's intense and crazy and so brilliant. This game actually had me like, I need to buy a PSVR because I want to play this in virtual reality.
Is it in VR?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you guys thinking about getting VR?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close.
Nah. I'll probably just have a bash out someone else's again.
I'm right on the edge.
Okay, I'm excited if you do, because I loved it. I traded my one in, and they released a newer version since then. But like, I am so on the edge of buying that all the time because I had a great time.
Yeah, I feel like I needed some cases to be made for me, and a lot of the conversations around Tetris Effect and Astrobot and Moss, they if people have VRs, I'd be really interested to hear how that's going for them and what they're playing. But Thumper, what a nightmare. I can play it for 40 minutes and then I have to stop. But it's incredible game.
Did you get this in the January sales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Those sales were so
yeah.
good.
I think a lot of the games I played were from the sales. Me?
Brian.
Yeah.
I am so curious about NeverDead.
Okay, I just started playing NeverDead. I'm probably going to talk about it more in the next episode.
Sure.
But I'm 2 hours into NeverDead, a game that I got from John for Christmas.
Your best friend.
Yeah.
I think this is cute because you really were saying you wanted to play this, especially after the missing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm an amazing friend.
Okay, so John got me NeverDead. He got me a brand new copy of NeverDead. Like, I had to take off the plastic ceiling off of it.
I guess there's still a fair few of those lying around.
There are. I checked the PlayStation Store. You cannot download this game. You can only buy this game physically.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. This game came out. So, like, the game is like a character action game, but it's not like Bayonetta or anything like that. Like, it's not as good as Bayonetta or Vanquish, but it's better than Devil's Third. But this game came out in early 2012. So around that time was when the Metal Gear Solid HD collection would have come out.
Yeah.
But this would have come out 9 months before Resident Evil 6. Like, this is a very, very different time for gaming that this came out. And this would have come out a year, maybe 2 years after Bayonetta, because I think Bayonetta came out in early 2010.
Yeah, I feel like Bayonetta came out and action games were like, okay, we give up.
Yeah. But the guy who directed NeverDead, his last thing he directed was NeverDead. And before that, he directed and was a sequence planner in the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games.
Huh.
And he got a chance with Konami to make his own game. And I think NeverDead is what that compromisation of it is. Because it's janky as fuck.
Yeah.
Are you having fun, though?
Not playing it, but I like owning. I like putting it on my shelf and appreciating it.
And that's kind of pretty much exactly what I thought this would be.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad I own this. So like, he plays a guy who can't die, and when he takes a lot of damage, he's like a crash test dummy where his limbs fall off and then his torso falls off, and you're controlling a head, and you can kind of like charge up the head and speed boost the head around the place. But what happens is you think, oh well, then you don't die in the game because you're never dead. There are these enemies that suck you up, and then they suck you up, and then you have what is I can describe as a Tony Hawk's mini game where it has, or like a golf charge meter where it's running like a thing back and forth, and you have to make sure you hit X in between the blue line, and if you do that, then the thing spits you back out,
and if you don't,
it swallows you and you live inside the monster forever. So I guess you are dead then.
Yeah.
So that's the logic. I don't understand. And so like, but see, like for ages I was like, why? So like, why is there a gimmick that the guy can't die? And then you find out that there's puzzle platforming bits to this where you need to disassemble yourself to go through air vents to then reassemble yourself on the other end to open up.
Sounds like The Missing.
Yeah, it's like I've played this game. It's The Missing.
Yeah.
It's so strange. What year did this come out?
2012.
2012, and then in like
this came out 7 years ago.
Like that's so like. I haven't seen that kind of theme repeated.
Yeah.
But then it's got loads of, edgy teenage boy attitude. And that's kind of where it reminds you of Devil's Third, because I guess Devil's Third was developed for like the better part of the decade. So it kind of and like it kind of feels like Shadows of the Damned as well. I think Shadows of the Damned came out in
Shadow of the Damned is that kind of, for me, that kind of peak late 360 jank game with a lot of personality.
Yeah. So Shadows of the Damned came out in summer 2011, and this came out 6 months later, and they all complement each other, and they're very, very truncated. You're going into a building, you clear the room, you fight the same fucking enemy over and over. There's a girl, and she's like, "Stop looking at me that way," and he's like, "Well, looking at you like what?" Just that kind of.
My gun's a dick.
Yeah.
My dick's a gun.
And like, and so like, he's got two pistols that float behind him like a Nier Automata, which I guess is where they got that idea from.
Yoko Taro's a fucking thief.
Hey, the ending credits to Smash is a first-person shooter, or no, sorry, little shmup thing.
Really?
It's always been like
doing
that.
that forever. Yoko Taro stole that idea.
Yeah, it's been like that for 20 years.
From a Nintendo game, Niamh.
From the guy who made Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to speak.
Yeah.
Keep going.
What was I going to say? Oh, so then his other weapon is a sword. And what you do is you take out the sword, and then you have to stop moving and use the camera control stick to swing the sword.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, it's some Killer 7 bullshit. It's really good.
What does it look like? Is it colourful? Because the box art was really striking because it's yellow.
It looks like a really, really ugly The Last of Us.
Okay, because when I was looking at the trailers and stuff, I was like, it looks like more money went into this than I would have thought.
Some of the cutscenes are like A-grade cutscenes. A lot of them aren't.
Okay, yeah, I'm guessing that's where the trailer money went.
Yeah, this looks like shit.
Fair.
I'm going to play a bit more, but what an era this belongs to. This game would not exist anymore.
Yeah. Guys, I played some Castlevania Rondo of Blood.
Oh, I know about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick this up in the sales?
Yeah, I picked like 11 games up in the sale. I had one night where I was just like, let's have a look at everything. And then I picked up another one after that. I picked up Remothered.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Cool. I got Remothered too.
Okay.
Rondo.
I have not played enough of it to have an opinion.
Me neither.
Played a little bit. Ooh, that's a fucking weird ass game.
Sure fucking is.
Yep. But anyway, Rondo of Blood's really cool. Real quick, I really liked Symphony of the Night. I thought that was a really cool game because the two Castlevania games. Well, there's 3 Castlevania games you always hear people talking about: Super Castlevania, Rondo of Blood, and Symphony of the Night. The people who think Super Castlevania is good are wrong. I wish they weren't, because I used to love that game when I was little. But when I played that on the SNES Classic, fuck that game.
Yeah,
that game
boring.
Sucks. Yeah. Symphony of the Blood, Symphony of the Night, obviously really good. I didn't like it as much as I think a lot of people did, but I still really liked it. Really, really liked it. Rondo of Blood is fucking awesome. This is the closest. This is the game I played where I could see the blood-stained DNA in it. It's so good. The music is amazing. It plays really crisp. The levels are all super well designed. Really, just if you want a really solid Castlevania game, check it out. It has amazing music as well. Like, there's so many bits where like the music kicks in and it's just like, this is awesome. And some really shitty, amazing anime cutscenes.
This is the one with Richter in it, isn't it?
The dude from Smash.
Yeah, with the blue bandana.
Yeah, and it's just really good. It's really hard. It's a werewolf boss and it kicked my ass.
Yeah.
But it's super, super good.
And this was on PC only for years, and then it got
I think Japan only for years.
Yeah, in Japan, and then it came out in the PSP, and then it came out on the PS4 at the end of last year for like Halloween.
Yeah. Bryan, gonna bounce it back to you. Tell us about one of your most anticipated games of all time that I'm so glad you finally got to play. Tell us about Knack.
Okay, for the longest time I've always wanted to play Knack.
That's true.
Okay, Knack is 5 years and 3 months old.
Okay.
And it came out on the PlayStation 4. That is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the subject of many memes.
Yes. This was a launch title for the PS4, and when I saw it and they were charging about €70 for this game, I was like, why? Why is this a game?
Fair.
So this was a PS Plus game the better part of a year ago, and I have it downloaded, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and I said, alright, I'm going to play 2 hours of Knack. I'm going to leave my judgment where it is. I'm actually just going to like be as honest about what I like and don't like about it. I prefer Knack to ukulele.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
H-Bomb needs to make a Why Knack is Good game.
Like, you put your hands on this and you're like, oh, this already plays nicer than other games I've played recently, such as ukulele.
Right. This is kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I really wanted ukulele to be good.
Yeah, me too. I was really disappointed by that game. So, like, you're playing as this fucking thing called Knack, and he gets bigger and smaller as you play through the level, and you're playing through, like, truncated corridors. And all he has is a fucking punching combo and a jump, and then you build up a meter, which you can do a special. But, like, he doesn't have a grab or anything, so I think something like Streets of Rage actually has more depth to it in terms of control. But another thing I can say that's nice about this game is the enemy placement of it has lots of thought put into it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll go into an arena and you'll have a bunch of enemies and they'll kick the shit out of you, and you're like, oh, I know what I did wrong, and I have to come up with a strategy. Like, I was using Dark Souls strategies where I would bait one of the enemies closer, take him out before I took on another enemy, because you can't, like, go in and combo them all because you'll get hit.
Yeah, I've heard it's actually quite difficult.
Yeah, no, it's quite a difficult game. Like, there's quite a bit of depth to it. Then there's shit like where you're playing the game and then, like, so, like, it's kind of like a platformer in the way Crash Bandicoot is a platformer. You're jumping, but, like, you're not precision platforming the way you are in Mario. Like, it really feels like Crash Bandicoot. You're very much going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
But there'll be bits where, like, you'll be going along and all of a sudden it'll play a cutscene of him doing, like, these cool jumps to the next part. And you're like, why is that in there?
Why couldn't I have played this bit?
Yeah. So, like, Knack can grab onto things and climb up them. Mm-hmm. But that's only in cutscenes, because you actually can't play that bit.
Okay.
Because, like, there isn't a button and there are buttons in this game that don't do anything. Like, this is a launch title game for sure.
I hate that. I hate when you see a cutscene and the character is doing something that you feel like you should be able to do in gameplay.
Yeah, totally.
Like, why can't I jump?
There's so much of that in Knack. But then, like, there's a bunch of other stuff I like about it. It's got an interesting cast. Gets like there's no bullshit. Gets right down to the point. You start the game, like, there's some lore, but, like, it kind of gets explained as you play through it. Like, it's not a big info dump at the beginning.
I thought some of those character models for the human characters were hideous.
They are. I think they're trying to go for, like, a Tezuka style,
right?
But it's not working out.
No.
Like,
is there anything in this that made you think they should have made Knack 2?
I have no idea what Knack 2 is. Like, is
there's
there
two of them? Yeah, there's two.
Are they? Is, like, one a girl Knack?
No, it's just blue.
They're agented robots, Bryan.
Yeah.
Okay, because in this, like, Knack is like he sounds like me.
He has like a really deep voice.
Yeah, he sounds like I heard him speak, and, like, no matter what size he is, he's always like, "Hey, I'm Knack." It's just, and then, like, the menus and stuff look really, like, they look like a mobile game kind of menu.
Oh, that's like the most damning thing you can say.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, do you know what? The most underwhelming thing about it is there are, like, because there's, like, ancient tech robots in it. So there are these robotic beetles that you fight in the mine, which is the first area of the game after the tutorial area. But when you defeat one of these beetles, they explode, and their explosion animation is, like, the saddest looking explosion effects I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, really?
And it looks like it belongs in a PlayStation 1 game. And, like this is not the game. Like there's stuff about this where it does show off the PS4 tech, because, like, the Knack is made out of, like, lots of individual pieces.
I feel like there's a game every generation that's like, look at what we couldn't do before, and most of the time they're terrible. Like State of Emergency, and then that one time they were Dead Rising, and one of the best games on that generation.
Yeah, this is, like, I was going in and, like, I'm gonna fucking rag on this so bad, because.
But no, you actually like it. Like, you're pretty positive.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna play any more of it, but I'm glad I played it, and I tried to be as balanced as I possibly could be with this game. I don't recommend anyone play it. I think if you like this game, that's cool. There's other games out there, but, you know, Knack is, it's of its era.
Yeah.
if it came out now, it would just, nobody would care about it.
Cool.
It's just weird.
Well, Bryan, I look forward to your review of Knack 2 in another 5 years.
I don't want to think about Knack ever again.
Niamh, you
Yes.
played Hitman 2.
Yes.
It's a game from 2001, and it's the sequel to the original Hitman. And why don't you tell us about it?
This came out this year. Well, no, not this year. Last year, 2018.
2018.
I'm gonna have to get used to that.
Yeah.
It takes
It
me,
freaked me out when I realized that next year is 2020.
Yeah.
because that's in like sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're in sci-fi movies now.
Yeah.
But that's
Sure.
real sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway. Hitman.
Anyway, Hitman 2. I haven't played a Hitman game since Absolution, which was on the 360.
Just got announced for HD remaster. I
Yeah.
think.
And I think Absolution isn't that great. Blood Money is better. But
Which is the one with the sexy rubber nuns.
that's Absolution.
Right.
I'm having a great time with this. It's so open. You are Agent 47. You are given a contract kill and you go execute that in an open world. So you can pull this off whatever way you want. And so the level is sometimes Florida. And it's Florida at the Grand Prix. So there's like racing cars and you need to maybe take out one of the race car drivers. And you can do them whatever way you want. So I ended up poisoning the winner's cup because she always wins and I thought she would win. She didn't win this time, so I just ended up poisoning some other dude. I'm having a lot of fun trying to figure out ways to kill people, watching them go terribly wrong and trying to correct that.
When a way goes right, it's nearly a disappointment to me because I love the desperate scramble. I love that they're leaving now, kill them.
And I was like, oh shit, maybe I'll just shoot them in the head and run away. And sometimes that works more effectively than anything else.
Oh, it does. Like, you can do that to everyone in the game.
I had a great one. There was one where you enter a mansion and you I had disguised myself as a tattoo artist, and for some reason Agent 47 gained all the arm tattoos of the person he took the identity of
course,
of this famous tattooer. And like, you go into this house and like this guy, he's like a drug cartel mob boss, and he has this wife who's just like, you kind of look different from the guy on TV, and you're like, no. and it's 47 pretending to be a tattoo
what I love about
artist.
47 is how he doesn't even try.
He
Like, he
not
has this
at all.
accent that's like, here we are. And so someone would be like, are you the right guy? And he'd be like, yes, I am. And it's
Yes, I am the shaman. Yes, I am the tattoo artist. And like, it's just like, it's really great. Like, I killed this guy as a tattoo artist by stabbing him in the neck with a tattoo gun, and I freaked out. I didn't know where to put his body, so I dumped his body out the window, but he fell directly on top of his wife. But because of the drama that made, I managed to sneak out and no one spotted me, but it wasn't a very clean kill. So I could reload the save and I stored the body in a better place. But honestly, I really enjoyed dumping him out the window more than anything.
Some of that's just really fun. I think there was a lot of joy in that game. So I've been playing it as well. So we had from like trying to get it right. You know, like when you get in there and you assassinate the person without anyone seeing you, without shooting a bullet, without leaving any evidence, and when just as you're walking out the gate, it feels so good.
Yeah, you feel so slick.
Although I think my favorite level is the kind of tutorial level so far.
The mansion house?
The beach?
Yeah.
That's such a good level.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. It's not the type of game I would usually play, and at the start, like, the way I've usually dealt with stealth, and this is like, say, from like Metal Gear 5 and Assassin's Creed, is I just kill everyone. And in this, you cannot do that.
No.
If you kill everyone, it's like, it's not a good thing. So I had to unlearn that video game trait and keep people alive and use kind of distractions and set like flood sinks to make people leave a room and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, it's been an interesting experience. I'm really enjoying it. I'm one mission away from finishing the story mode of 2 and getting all my like kind of like checkmarked kills on each level. And I think it's a great game. I'm having a lot of fun.
Really well made.
Mm-hmm.
I had the racing level you were talking about. That happened to me as well, where someone else won the race.
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna, but in my game they didn't drink from the cup.
No.
Or maybe I didn't have the poison to poison the cup. And so I was following this guy around because I knew I could use this guy to get at the person I needed to get. And so I was following them for ages, and then finally him and 3 bodyguards walked through this underground tunnel, and the tunnel was maybe 10 meters long, and I was like, fuck, this is my only opportunity where I'm not going to be seen, and all I had was a screwdriver, so I had to kill this guy and his 3 bodyguards with a screwdriver, and it was really intense and messy, but it was so much fun. And then I got it, and then I went and I got into a drinking contest with the girl I actually wanted to kill, and then I made her shit herself, and she ran to the toilet, then I drowned her in the toilet.
Sweet.
And then I went and met her dad, and her dad showed me his big fancy robot, and I showed a photo of the dad to the robot, and the robot shot him, and I just strolled on out of there. It's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
a good
fun.
game,
It's really
yeah.
goofy.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's cool. Bryan,
Yes,
you beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Bomb Chicken, and Tacoma.
I did.
Very busy.
Well, okay, Shadow Tomb Raider.
Our number 3 game of the
Yeah,
year.
no, I really like
Was
this
it?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a good
You
game.
motherfucker, Niamh.
It's a good game. I think I did all the side tombs as well because I love those. There was one tomb I didn't really like, and I actually just stopped doing that tomb. I just left it.
So you didn't do all the side tombs.
No, like I visited all of them. I made the little bonfire.
That's not what that means, Bryan.
I did all of them.
No, you didn't.
As far as you know. I
The
did all of them.
one with the piranhas.
Mm,
That one sucks.
the piranhas suck in general.
Yeah. Sometimes the piranhas kind of like there's sometimes you're swimming through water and piranha like a shoal of piranhas will come up and bite you, but it's really funny because if you're close enough to the water's edge, you can climb back up on a raft, and the piranha animation plays out, but they won't kill Laura. They're just like stuck to her.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Unless you move around and then they fall off. But I was like, I'm not gonna move around, and so they're just there.
You had some major bugs.
Yeah, I did, but they kind of added to the experience. At one point, Jonah didn't have a torso, so he was just floating head and arms above his waist.
It was such a pity. The moment Bryan got this bug was during one of my favorite moments of the game, where it's like a Mayan apocalypse, so it's all Mayan architecture, but then it changes because it's kind of talking about kind of like, interlopers and people coming into these closed communities. So you go to a Christian missionary, and it's all Catholic imagery.
Yeah.
And like the Stations of the Cross and kind of stuff like that. But that's when Bryan got the bug, and like it's like this really cool area, and it's just like a floating Jonah head, and it's just like, oh no.
Being raised Catholic, the Stations of the Cross
Yeah.
puzzles were so easy.
They were so easy.
Really?
Yeah, it was
you
like-
just knew the answer.
Yeah, like you're looking around and you're like, well, those two are out of order because I've seen this is burned into my fucking
Yup.
mind. So fucking easy. But I kind of like that. I was like, I know something they don't know.
It was really fun. I really liked that as well. It was just like, there's like, did you know there was only 7 Stations of the Cross originally? And I was like, yes, Laura, I do. I went to Catholic school.
Yeah,
I know
all the
this
shit.
puzzle.
So I've played all 3 of the Tomb Raider reboots. I think my favorite one is the second one.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I think Rise of the Tomb Raider is my favorite.
Which would be your favorite, Niamh?
I think 1 is my favorite for story, but 3 is my favorite for puzzles, and I think Rise is a good happy medium.
Yeah.
Like, I think 2 might be kind of the best balance between the 2.
Yeah.
I love the boss battle at the end of 1.
Yeah.
I think the boss battle at the end of this is fine. It's just kind of like once you figure out the pattern, you go with it.
I just don't think the shooting felt as nice in this one compared to like 1 or 2. Like, I felt like the shotgun in the first 2 felt good. In this one, I felt like I could have used any weapon and it would have felt the same kind of generally. But like, I loved the puzzles in Shadow. I thought they were really fun. The challenge
brilliant,
tombs,
yeah.
they're really good.
Like, they really, really feel like Zelda dungeons, some of the puzzles.
Bryan, you also beat Bomb Chicken.
Bomb Chicken, yeah. Bomb Chicken's a game I got in the January sales. This is on Switch. It's a puzzle platformer. If you like Donkey Kong 94 or the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games on the Game Boy Advance, you will love Bomb Chicken. It's really, really, really fun. It's only like 2 or 3 hours long, so buying it full price is a bit of a setback. But the fact that I got it on sale kind of like softened that. But it's really, really simple controls, and you just play as a chicken in a factory, and it's like a Mesoamerican factory, so it's sort of like Aztec, Mayan, Incan, kind of like a temple, but they've built a fake KFC on top of it, and they're processing all the chickens in South America. And you play as this like fat little chicken that lays bombs. And the only controls are left and right and lay an egg. And there's no jump in this game because the chicken can't jump because he's too fat. So the way you go up vertically is you lay a bunch of bombs to stack up vertically. But it's like Bomberman where the bombs can damage you as well. So you have to strategize. And you have to kind of like... So like it's kind of like playing Snake on your phone where you kind of have to be like a move ahead each time. Like it's so clear and simple each time you're doing a level. And there's 30 levels, I think. And a couple boss battles in between. And the boss battles are great. Really, really cute game.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, I think the only other games this company have made are like mobile games, but this just looks great, lovely presentation, cool game.
Cool. I played a little bit of Earth Defense Force 4. These games are like B-movie games in that they're really corny, they're really stupid, but they're so much fun. The entire premise is that you're a soldier, giant insects are attacking the Earth, go. That's it.
Is this on PS4?
Yep. And so you have these giant arenas where you fight these insects, which are giant cityscapes. And it's really fun, but I feel like there's one class in this game that changes the game completely and is so much more fun to play as. And it's the Wing Diver, because you can fucking fly. And so you're fighting these massive, gigantic insects who are like crawling all over these skyscrapers. And it's so much fun. And there's nearly kind of, parts of it nearly have a kind of Dynasty Warriors vibe where like literally hundreds of giant ants are running at you. Mm-hmm. But then other parts, it's like you, like me, I played all this with my cousin Bryan. We played it on hard. And it was really like tactical. Like it was like, okay, we have to lure the jumping tarantulas into this area, and then we have to kill the black widows here, then the ants are going to come at us here, and we kept replaying these really hard missions, and it was so much fun. I don't really have a lot more to say about it than that. It's really stupid. Like, there's a button that you start singing, and then if you start singing and there's NPCs around you, they'll all start singing and going, EDF, EDF, which is Earth Defense Force. And don't have a whole lot to say about it. Really looking forward to playing more. Really stupid fun game.
There we go.
Bryan, Tacoma.
Tacoma. Do you guys know about Tacoma?
Yeah.
I bought it. Haven't played it yet.
It's made by the studio that made Gone Home. Mm-hmm. You can definitely tell it has Gone Home DNA all over it.
Yeah.
You play as a subcontractor who's exploring a space station and the crew have gone missing. And you have to piece together what happened. And the way you do it is... So you're playing in first person just like Gone Home, and you're going around the space station, and it's a very small 2-hour game like Gone Home, but you get these ARG simulation things that play back the most recent memory in that room. And there are six members of the space station, and you watch 3 or 4 minute conversations of them in like a room that's usually consisting of like 2 or 3 rooms, and they'll walk around and talk to each other in groups of 2 or 3, and then you get clues from that to get to the next area. So you might get a password to a door, or you might get a bit of information about one character that they're withholding about someone else, but that's how you kind of advance to the next room that way, I guess.
Right.
And it really reminds you of the play Sleep No More that we saw, John.
Oh yeah.
Where you're watching a play unfold in real time, not on a stage, but you're standing beside the actors, and you can choose to follow them, or you can go to a different room and follow that play instead. But the gimmick with this is that you can scrub through the timeline, and then and it'll tell you like, there's a key event here, so look for the clue here. And usually when they'll have like their tablet open, but they'll have like a web page open with the information. But you know how when you have an app open in your phone, you usually have 3 or 4 apps. So you can go into the other apps as well, because the whole idea is that when they're on the space station, because of this big corporation, they've signed away all their privileges so they can be monitored like completely. And then there's another character who is kind of like an AI system that's on the space station, and he's kind of like HAL 9000, I guess, from 2001. And it kind of feels that way, but then they go a different direction that I thought was very cool. And like Gone Home, there's a shit ton of representation, huge variety of characters. All 6 of them are super different to each other. You can tell them apart. they've used the restrictions of their budget super well, because they have like photographs of who they are, but when you play back the memories, it's a mannequin without a face, but they're color coded, and you can tell who's the botanist and who's the doctor, and who's like, you know, who's in charge, who's the vice. Very, very simply.
Okay.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Cool. Sounds good.
I preferred it to Gone Home, but I could see people preferring Gone Home to this as well, because like this doesn't really do much more. Like, it's not.
I really loved Gone Home, like, a lot.
Like this is definitely something you should play if you like Gone Home, but like don't expect anything super fresh in this.
Sure. Okay. I played Zero Time Dilemma, which is the third 999 game. I played Virtue's Last Reward last year, was a huge fan, and I started playing this. I'm only kind of in it. I'm only like a couple of hours in, and it's really interesting because it's still like a visual novel in terms of like what it is, but they've upped the presentation a lot. Like, so far there haven't been any like text screen at the bottom of the screen and just character portrait. Everything is like animated and directed now, which is a huge step up for that series. And it's been really enjoyable so far. The premise is really interesting. You're broken into 3 teams, and the way it works is that you're basically told that you have to choose one of the other teams to die, and they have to choose you, and you don't know who's going to choose who. And it's like this massive branching path thing where you can experience everything from one particular team's point of view and look at what they do. And so I picked a team and I killed the other 2 teams, and then the story branched to what would have happened if that happened, but then you can do it all the other ways, just like the previous ones. It seems really cool. Our characters are really interesting and fun. It's kind of weird. 999, the VL, like the Zero Time games, they always have a titty character.
Yeah.
The titty character in this is the most ridiculous titty character they've ever had. And she has like a personality and she's normal, but it is so separate from how she like dresses, and it's really weird. Like, even more so than the previous ones. She's still cool, like all the characters are cool, but that was the one thing where I was like, what the fuck? But it's strange. But not too much to say on it yet. It seems really cool, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. They've already started introducing concepts where I'm like, oh my fucking god, what? But yeah, it's cool. Bryan, take us home with Yokai Watch 3.
I have just started this game. Seems really, really cute. I like the series. I will play more and I'll come back to you.
Good stuff. Okay, we're gonna shoot through some Quicktime Events. Soulja Boy nearly sued Nintendo.
I thought he was nearly sued by Nintendo.
I think I might have left that part out. Yeah, although, yeah, so Soulja Boy has been trying to sell his own games console.
He has. These are Chinese hardware with a Soulja Boy sticker on them, I think.
Yeah.
What the
pretty
fuck?
much.
But these just play ROM dumps.
Wow.
And it was so funny, like, people on Twitter were like, Nintendo are going to sue you, and it was like, Nintendo are going to sue shit. Nintendo tried to sue him.
Yep. What a guy. So, adverts in Street Fighter 5.
What the fuck is this?
This was the grossest shit.
What the fuck are they advertising in Street Fighter?
So, nothing right now. The idea that they had a placeholder advertisement for their Capcom Cup. But the way it worked was that there was like adverts before a match. So you could see adverts like, and the way they do it is, this is something I think that you switch on. And if you switch it on, you are going to see adverts in game, but you're also going to earn more fight money for costumes and stuff like that. And so an advert plays before a match, which I don't like any part of this. I think if you're paying, $60, $70 for a product, that should just be the product. There shouldn't be advertisements in it, like, full stop. There was that, but also adverts appeared on the actual character models.
Yep.
So, you know when Akuma does his Shungoku Satsu and turns his back to the camera?
Yeah.
There is a Capcom Cup logo there.
Cool.
No.
Because he would definitely endorse that.
Yeah, and
that's a product he believes in.
This is what I fucking hated about this stuff. Like, I saw some people saying like, oh well, you know, they put the logos on like Ryu's gloves, and it's like, yeah, he's been sponsored, and it like, no one gives a shit about stories in fighting games. I know, but to me, the cool thing about Ryu is he doesn't need anything. He travels from town to town. He fights. It's his entire life. And they even touch off that in one of his endings to Third Strike, where he's kind of regretful of it. He kind of wishes he'd made a family or something like that. And I think that's really cool. Like, it's actual really interesting kind of character bit going on there. And that really sucked, like the idea that he would ever be tempted to take a sponsorship.
Yeah. Or Guile with his like American flag tattoo would be changed by the sponsorship as well.
So Guile, like, you know, America Boy, they have a really important part of his character just overwritten, but the most egregious one by far was Dalsum's skulls. Mm-hmm. So Dalsum wears this like necklace of skulls, and it looks really intimidating and badass. But in the lore, it's always been that those skulls are actually skulls of children from his village. And he fights for them because, like, that's why Dalsum's like a pacifist, but he uses his abilities to earn money to help his village. And the idea that you'd slap a fucking Coca-Cola logo on one of those skulls, like, someone really fucked up with that one. And
I think it's just gross in general that you would, like, as a consumer, play like when this came out, like €60 for a game, and then, like, I know you can switch them on and off, but like, if you have them on, you gain fight money, which you can buy other characters and shit with, like, that you would have in-game advertising space kind of taken up. That's and even fucked.
Like, I have to believe that if they're gonna go so far as to actually put carrot logos on the character models, future game design decisions are going to come from the incentive of wanting people to switch on that stuff and de-incentivizing people not to. Like, that's how these companies work. That's how microtransactions always fucking work in games. And this was really terrible. I was so disappointed. Like, you know, if you've been listening to this podcast long enough, you know how much I fucking love Street Fighter and love those characters. And this was so disappointing. And they've taken it out for now. I'm really glad. I hope this shit never comes back. And I'm really disappointed in Capcom.
You fucked up.
You fucked up. But it's okay because Soldier 76 has an ex-boyfriend.
Soldier 76 is gay now. So at the start of, like, before Overwatch came out, they kind of said that there would be LGBT characters, and people were like wondering who they would ever be. Tracer was the first one to announce she's a lesbian, and she is the main character on the front of the box, which is cool. And then in the last few days, they made a comic which was mostly about Ana, but it's kind of about like the old guard of Overwatch with like 76 and Ana and Reaper, and it kind of it hints at the idea, well, it doesn't hint, it kind of says explicitly that Soldier 76 had an ex-boyfriend who, you know, Overwatch got in the way of. So it's cool. I think it's really cool. I've dual feelings on this. Like, the first one is, it's great that one of the main characters of Overwatch, Soldier 76, the guy, the introductory character that helps people like play this game, the shooter character is a gay man. Like, I think that's really, really cool. And like the same with Lena, like Tracer being the lesbian character on the front of the box. Like, these are the kind of main figureheads of Overwatch, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it totally is. But I think we're gonna say the same thing next. How about they put it in the game?
Yeah. This is the thing when it comes to representation. Representation has two dual tenets it should be upholding. The first thing is letting LGBT see themselves in fiction. So if you're a gay, you have probably searched for representation yourself, and you find that there isn't many. Like, I have searched for it my entire life. I've watched every lesbian movie. There is very little, and you love these mediums of games and you want to see yourself represented in them, especially because there's so many just straight characters and that's just the default. So it's cool to have these characters represent, and that's nice. The problem with it is the other important aspect of representation is not for gay people, it's for the homophobes, or it's for the people who don't care about gay people, and it's to normalize these relationships, and it's to bring them to the forefront of consciousness, because like, so that's what's important about this, is being able to view these characters in a positive light through a medium you love. And if you relegate this to an online comic, which is going to be a very specific niche part of the fandom consuming, is it representation? Yes and no. Some people know about it, the majority won't. And what can you do about this? And I think I've 2 fixes for this, because I don't like raising a problem without a fix. So my first fix is, I think in general, outside of the representation stuff, I think it's a pity that people don't know there's cinematics and there's comics with Overwatch while they're playing the game. And I think they could have a link out on the main screen to these things. They've done link outs before when it comes to their like tournaments. You can link out and go to a browser feed of the tournament. So they can do that with the cinematics and the comics. And the comics are set up that they're kind of motion graphic based, so you could watch them on your TV if you really wanted to. So I think when they release a new comic, they should be like the home splash screen, either a link out to it as a button you press, or like go to overwatch.com, and you would get more people involved in it that way. Number 2, as you saw with Mercy, they did a charity thing for breast cancer. They have 2 gay characters. They could do a charity for LGBT stuff. They could offer a skin, maybe with the LGBT flag, like the rainbow flag, and the proceeds go to an LGBT charity. They could easily do something like that, and that would like highlight these characters as gay, as well as raise money for a good cause. Like Michael Chu, like one of the writers on Overwatch, clarifying on Twitter he's gay is fine for the people who are on Twitter. It doesn't mean jack shit for the people who are not engaging with that, you know what I mean?
Some gay Dumbledore bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's gay for the people who know it, and it's straight for the people who will never ever look for it.
Yeah, totally. Guys, let's move into some emails.
All right.
Or maybe just email.
Maybe just the one.
Yeah.
Just one cute email. If you want to send us an email, and we'd love to get an email from you. Yes, you.
We super appreciate all our emails. We don't get a chance to read them all out, but we do read everyone.
And we want to read out a lot of emails this year. It's just, we're going to do one email this episode.
We have some special shit we need to attend to. It's getting close to midnight.
Yeah. But our email is askletsfightaboss@gmail.com.
That's askletsfightaboss@gmail.com. How many emails do you think have gone to letsfightaboss@gmail.com?
Oh no.
I'd say a couple of hundred.
I wonder whoever owns that is like, why are you
who the fuck is Niamh?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's askletsfightaboss.
Do you guys have any preferences?
The one you picked seemed pretty good.
This one comes from Phil. Hello, I've listened to you guys since John, not a clue how to spell it. It's John, but I don't care. You guys have got me through some tough times. Really glad to hear that, Phil. Anyway, I just want to ask you what you think about the degradation of analysis on YouTube. Not in totality, of course, just as a general trend towards, i.e. discussion towards plot holes exclusively, forced diversity, and I should note he has forced diversity in quotation marks, so you know what he means.
Yeah.
And other buzzwords, a rejection of symbolism for literal analysis, etc. I think the moment it became really noticeable to me is in the whole Last Jedi controversy on YouTube, and it seemed like there's clusters of channels parroting opinions to the point that it really homogenizes analysis about media. Am I cynical to believe that most of this is pandering to your audience to get views, or do you think there's a general trend towards the internet, and YouTube by extension has sort of rejected more complex analysis as a whole? Maybe I'm just paying attention to the wrong people online. I'd appreciate your thoughts. Take it easy, Phil. Thank you, Phil. That's a great email. I'd be super curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
I think with the internet, with any medium, there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. I think, like, let's say for television, for example, you've got, like, you know, well-produced HBO shows, but then you just have soap operas and reality TV shows and just like daytime television that is just there to fill a void. Same with YouTube. You just get stuff that you watch when you're on the toilet.
Making videos is easier than ever. Like, you know, Sony Vegas Pro goes on sale for like €20 on Humble Bundle now, and people can watch YouTube videos on how to make a slick looking video, and people can buy a Blue Yeti mic and sound good. And now it's great that it's so much cheaper and so much easier to get like involved in this stuff. But it also means there's a lot of people riding the wave. And the wave is analysis. And what they're doing is absolutely not analysis. They're just calling it that stuff.
Sitting right fucking here, Niamh.
But like say with Last Jedi, for example, it's like that was a buzzword. People wanted their opinions validated, and there was loads of people to give them that validation and label it analysis, you know, and it's not that. Like if your video is just talking about Mary Sue's and just like shit like that, and it's not talking about theme and like, I don't know, just like going into actual filmic theory, then it's not that. And I think there's like, it's a double-edged sword of like how easy it is to make these videos now. Like you're getting so many better people making good content, and you're also getting people who are just talking shite out their arse, you know, and saying it is what it is.
But copying the template of a good video.
Yeah, but copying it.
So it's disguised.
And what people want, and why people like analysis, and why people like YouTubers, and why people even like this podcast, is they want to hear their beliefs and their rationale for something. They want to hear it back.
Yeah, they want to hear that validation.
Yeah, they want to hear that validation. Or some people just don't have the words to communicate what they think. Like they have an idea and it's so crystal clear in their mind, but they go to verbalize it and it just doesn't come out, and that's super fucking frustrating. So when someone can do it for them, they're like, this is what I think. And then someone comes along and they're verbalizing it from such a bad place. And I think The Last Jedi is such a good example, because it's just someone angry about like diversity stuff, or about like how they fucked up the Jedi or some crap like that, and they're not actually dealing with like the themes of that. But a lot of like this analysis channel was stuff like, you know, they fucked up Snoke, they fucked up this, they fucked up that.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just people idolizing and their fan fiction not coming true.
Yeah, it's like people were like, I think this will happen, and then it didn't happen, and they got so fucking pissed off, and they make these angry ass videos, and then they label analysis, and then it gets boosted.
The worst is when it's like a synopsis or just an opinion, and it's not an analysis. Just like searched words so they have it in the title, and like it is just packaging and presenting your video in a way to get views. There are people that are doing it for the views. Like what's that nitpicky thing, CinemaSins? They're just gaining the algorithm, aren't they?
Oh yeah, big time.
And it's like, it sucks, I think, because I think it gives people the wrong idea of how to critique media, or even how to view media. But on the other hand, the other good thing is there is so many new good people making videos.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, oh, thank God, like I have all this new reading material and this new stuff to like explore now.
Yeah, I think with a lot of the kind of outrage YouTubers, I think it's important to look at a channel and be like, do they benefit by being negative about this? You know? And like, that doesn't mean like negative videos can't be constructive and blow up a lot, because like obviously they can. There is such a vacuum for that stuff that any shit can fill it, you know? And I find you get that a lot because people love to be angry on the internet. People love to be outraged, and that stuff will absolutely sell. And it's like, well, okay, what can we get angry at? It gets very frustrating to me, I guess, when I see people making videos for YouTube as opposed to for people. And you certainly see that a lot in anime. Like the amount of YouTubers I meet, and all they want to talk about is the stats. All they want to talk about is the algorithm. And the content of the video is completely second to the thumbnail and the title. I have never gone into a video being like, I'm going to game the fucking algorithm and this video is going to get 1 million views. I've done the opposite, where I'll be like, I don't want this video to blow up, so I'm going to do something that I don't see anyone talk about, like Grappler Backy. That fucking video ends up blowing up, you know?
Yep. But then, yeah, and it's on Netflix now as well, so it's got that Netflix tag.
Yeah. So I think when you have that need for numbers, when YouTubers are making videos to hit those kind of algorithms, that's when the garbage starts coming out, because they don't need to make a video about anything. Like, do you think the guys who run CinemaSins give a shit about the plot holes in Thor Ragnarok? Or the plot holes? I'm making quotation marks. Of course they don't. But they need a video to go up that Wednesday, so a video can go up Friday, so a video can go up Sunday, or whatever the fuck their schedule is.
Yeah, they gotta fill dead air.
So content doesn't matter, and they have a template they can slot this shit into.
Do they not like? I find that so wild, because I would feel literally guilty about talking about media that way. Like, I would feel weird about trying to pick holes in something I even enjoy just for the sake of a YouTube video.
The money must be really, really good that they are just doing such a shit job.
Oh, if you game the algorithm on YouTube, I'd say the money is insane.
Yeah, so they're doing a shitty job and they're getting paid super well for it.
How can you say you love media? Like, how can you say you love film when you do stuff like that? I don't understand. Like, you're doing is
they're
feeding
probably dead
into this,
inside.
is this like really shitty thing? Like, that makes me sad. But also, on the flip side, as I said, there is a lot of good people doing good stuff.
And there's a lot of new good people coming up as well.
Yeah.
Like, there was that girl you linked me.
Sarah
Z. Yeah, she's great.
Her, and then there was the anime girl that you mentioned.
Oh, God. Yeah, let me get her name.
Scottish girl.
Yeah.
And, like, it's cool because, like, a lot of them will support each other and they'll share each other's videos and they'll reply to each other's videos in the comments. So there's a nice
community there. Like, I think it sucks, but I think if you're like a viewer coming in from a good place as well, there's like two type of viewers as well. There's someone who wants to learn about like film and they're like wants to learn talk about media, and then there's someone who's just, I fucking hated that movie and I want to see someone rag on the fucking movie I hated.
Yeah, but it's weird because like those are kind of the two categories that also put a lot of comments into as well. I see people who are like, I see what you're trying to do here, and either they like it or they don't like it. But then the second type is, you didn't make the video I wanted you to make.
Yeah.
And that to me is pointless, because like, well, I didn't want to make that video.
It can be done super well, like a ragging on a movie video. Like, I watched Your Movie Sucks did an hour and a half video on Old Boy, and it's the 2003 South Korean film and the 2013 Spike Lee movie.
Really?
And he does it in a really, really fun way where he'll play like 10 minutes, or he'll go through the synopsis of 10 minutes of the South Korean movie, and then he'll go, and here's the American version of those 10 minutes, and just, compares and contrasts. And it's really funny.
Cool.
But I do think there's a good way to like shit on something, but you have to do it in like...
the way I always, like personally with me, I try and do it. Whenever I'm shitting on something, I try and find something about it that I love, or I try and find why do the people who love it. Because no one's an idiot for liking something. And like, I think it was with the Final Fantasy 15 video, I totally hit a point where I was like, man, I can see what this game could have been, and what it could have been is so cool. And like that, it was nice because I think a lot of people kind of saw that in that video, and that was
it didn't come from a nasty place.
No, like a lot of people were saying like, this is the most respectful, nicest destruction of this game I could have seen. And I really liked that,
The girl we were talking about is Isla Mactier.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's making cool YouTube videos as well.
Does mostly anime stuff, does she?
Yeah, mostly anime.
Should they be part of her loot drops?
Yeah, I'll stick her in
we'll
there.
Drop her in there. Okay, guys, let's say we move on to some Patreon shoutouts.
Fuck yeah.
Bryan, I'd really like to support the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. Where do I go?
Patreon.com/LFAB.
Niamh, I'm not sure I heard that correctly. Would you mind reminding me?
Patreon.com/LFAB.
Okay. Bryan, why don't you read this one from Special Episode?
Join John's spaceship cult, please.
How does anyone know about my spaceship cult? Niamh, we got this one from...
I want you to read this one.
Why?
Because it's better.
We got this one from Sigrun.
Yeah.
Niamh and Friends is my favourite podcast.
Thanks.
It's pretty good.
Niamh, why don't you take this last one from Grady Baby?
Could John and Bryan change their names to Josh and Bryan, spelt Brian, please? Niamh, Neev is fine.
Sure.
That only works as text, Grady.
Yeah, boy, it does.
Yeah, it doesn't work. No. Look, these are from our patrons on our Discord. They are a lovely group of people. If you would like to hang out with them, support the Patreon.
That is a very positive Discord, all right.
Great bunch of kids. Great bunch of lads. They're all cuties.
Moving on into our loot drop. Okay, so I got this loot drop from a YouTuber called Shami, who I've been watching a bunch lately, and it's an actual review of Night in the Woods and Life is Strange, and I really like this video. I don't feel particularly strongly about either of these games. I very much dislike Life is Strange, and Night in the Woods never really hit home with me. I thought this was a really interesting comparison between the two, and just a very well made video. Shami is kind of famous for taking a very, very long time to make videos, but it really shows in the videos he puts out. He recently put out a really big one about contrasting Overwatch and Paladins, and it was like 49 minutes long. It's a good video.
Nice.
Niamh, what do you got?
My one is I've been watching Games Done Quick.
Oh, me too.
It's the charity event where speedrunners raise money for charities. This year it's like cancer research. I watched a lot of this. I've been trying to watch all of this. My favorite runs so far have been, no surprise, the Tomb Raider 2 one and the Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness by Plastic Rainbow. It was very, very funny, very, very good. That game is so broken. And
what time did he beat it in?
Like, I think it was like 24 minutes.
What?
But it was originally, they had it at 2 hours, but there was this one glitch that they found recently that got it down to 20 minutes-esque. And it's just like, that game is busted as fuck, and like they really highlight it, and Plastic Rainbow and his group of friends were just a joy to watch. And so was a lot of people. I watched the Splatoon run, and that was really fun. And like,
speedrunning community are super cool.
I watched the Nier run, and that was
for Nier Automata.
Yeah, that was insane. The nicest part of it is you could donate for the save name at the start of it, and Alex Navarro got the save name donation.
Aww.
So the save was Alex, and Alex Navarro, if you don't know, is like one of the Giant Bomb guys, and he just loves Nier, so it was it was really cool to see his name pop up.
Yeah.
Bryan, what do you got?
I got 2 videos. I got a Pac-Man video, just some cool stylish Pac-Man gameplay in Smash.
Bryan's all over Pac-Man right now.
I am packing it up. I'm packing it in. Just packing it out for Pac-Man. Just a cool video. And then a video from recently started a YouTube channel that... Really sorry, buddy. Can't remember the name of your channel. But your video on Mario Kart is really, really, really good. And that's why I'm loot dropping it. But it's just kind of like game design and the making of a game.
Thomas Game Docs is the name of the channel.
I think I saw this guy in my recommended feeds.
Yeah, exactly. His stuff is really good. But his one on Super Mario Kart is super interesting. There's some really, really cool facts. Like, F-Zero came out 1 year before Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo.
God.
So, I know Mario Kart's super popular, but F-Zero came out before it. And they made Mario Kart because Nintendo wanted to make a 2-player racer, and they couldn't do it with F-Zero. So they decided to do it with kart racing and then decided to put Mario in it. Really, really interesting story of how that game was made.
Cool. And with that, guys, we're at the end of the podcast. Or are we? The answer is no, we're not.
We're not.
Because I have been waiting 12 long months for this day. 12 months I have lingered in the shadows while you two have drove this fucking podcast into the ground.
I think 2018, the reigning year of John as Pauper and Niamh and Bryan as Queens, has been the best year of the podcast.
Another great year.
I'm not allowed to talk about wrestling. I'm not allowed to talk about my Dragon Ball Z fan fictions or excuse me, I'm sorry, my Dragon Ball Z fan theories.
You still do.
Yeah, you still do. We give you a lot of leeway as the Queens.
Well, don't expect fucking any of that when I am crowned the Dark Prince of the Let's Fight a Boss podcast. We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We made roughly 10 predictions at the start of 2018 about what that year would be like. And now, a year later, we are all ready to answer for our sins. So I'm going to start off. The first prediction was a new Silent Hill game will be announced in 2018.
Oh no. What did we say?
Niamh said no. So that's 1 point for Niamh.
Good stuff, Niamh.
Bryan said no.
Yep.
That's 1 point for Bryan. John said yes. So that's 0 points for John, but we're right at the fucking start of this. We got a long way to go.
Sure.
Our second prediction. Oh, Jesus Christ. Metal Gear Survive will be great. Now, please keep in mind, everyone, Metal Gear Survive was not out when we...
That game is currently €10.
Yeah, it is.
And even then, I didn't want to buy it. I was just like, nah.
So, what we marked as great was above 75 Metacritic.
Right.
Niamh, you said no, bring you to 2 points. Bryan, you said no, bring you to 2 points. John, you also said no, bring you to 1 point.
Could use some fucking cop on.
Yep. Well, hang on. Just wait till we get to the end of this. This is a fun one. Star Citizen will be released in 2018.
No.
Niamh, you said no, bring you to 3 points. Bryan, you said no, bring you to 3 points. John, you said no, bring you to 2 points. Okay, this next one is a little hard to call. Which publisher will have the biggest PR disaster?
Ooh.
So
we each picked one, didn't we?
Now, looking at this, the answers are really interesting because it's... I don't know how you... We're going to have to talk this out. Niamh, you said Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan, you said Warner Brothers. And I said Nintendo because I thought the Labo was going to kill a child.
Did I say Warner Brothers?
You said Warner Brothers.
In fairness, last year they had a real big shit show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But then, like, do you know what? I wasn't even fucking thinking.
I mean, it made sense at the end of last year because they had all that loot drop stuff with the Lord of the Rings game.
I think I win this one personally because, like, Ubisoft maybe did okay with Odyssey, but they also had a lot of controversy over the in-game microtransactions. The idea that it was made artificially long for people to buy like XP bumps and stuff.
What, Warner Brothers they didn't really do a whole
They didn't
lot.
do much.
They didn't make any games last year.
Yeah.
Wait, so like, is this like an actual shit show or just like one of...
Just which one will have the biggest controversy?
Yeah, because like I guess the
Warner
one...
Brothers really not having it this year.
No.
Niamh, I think you take that one, which brings you to 4 points.
Yeah.
So Bryan, you are still at 3, and John is at 2, but there is still plenty time for a comeback of the Dark Prince of this podcast. Okay. A sleeper hit will break our top 5 game of the year.
I think we all wanted this to happen.
We all really wanted this to happen.
But did it? What's a sleeper hit?
So the only thing we have is Owlboy, because that was number 5, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But does that count?
No,
I don't
because
think so.
that
No.
came out originally a year or two ago on Steam.
We all said yes. We were all wrong. So 4, 3, 2.
I don't know. Hang on. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
Anyone?
part of me thinks that might be a slight sleeper hit for this. Like, I don't really like Rockstar
I thought
games.
you were joking. Fuck off with that.
No, I think I should get a point.
Well, then we would all get points.
Yeah, fair.
A brand new Mario or Zelda will be announced. Niamh, you said no. You were correct. Bryan, you said yes.
Oh dear.
John, you also said yes.
It pays to be negative.
Too hopeful. Too
there's
hopeful.
one coming up later on, Niamh, and I can't fucking wait. See what you think.
We were just really hopeful. That's all.
Okay, a sequel will be announced to one of the following: Legend of Goemon, Super Monkey Ball, Virtua Fighter, or Shadow Hearts. All very obscure dead series that we all love, or that some of us love.
No.
Niamh, you said no. Let's bring you to 6 points. Bryan, you said yes.
Yeah.
Do you think Monkey Ball? Like,
Wait. So, is this specifically those 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or... Okay. Right.
yeah, you fucked up.
And
Yeah, I
I
done
said
goofed.
no, which brings me to 3 points. Bryan, we are tied.
fuck.
Shit, maybe I'll have a new
You don't want some fucking
secondary
you want some
queen.
fucking Dark Prince.
I don't know.
Niamh, I can be very dangerous when given all the power to myself, but as a kind of sniveling secondary, I'm very loyal and very like, why isn't anyone obeying Niamh?
I like that idea.
Yep. Yoko Taro will be involved in an announced Final Fantasy project.
Oh, I wish.
Yes, you do, because you said yes and you were wrong.
That was so hopeful thinking. That was me being hopeful for a second and I fucked up.
Bryan, you said no, bringing you to 4. And I also said no, bringing me to 4.
Okay. So what are the points at the moment?
Niamh is at 6.
What?
Bryan's at 4. John's at 4. We have 2 questions left.
Jesus. Okay.
The Nintendo Labo will be a success.
What did we define as a success?
Yeah, I
We
don't know.
didn't really say.
What do you think of it now? Okay, before we look at the answers, do you think it was a success?
I mean, it sold 1.5 million.
Yeah, but no one talks about it.
No.
It was hype when it came out, and then now it's all on sale.
We've no interest in it.
I didn't buy it.
It wasn't a disaster, that's for sure.
I think the tone was that it was very much like a big success, which I don't think it was.
No, I don't
No,
think
no,
it
no.
was.
Niamh,
Yeah.
you said no. Would bring you to 7 points. It's fucking horseshit.
Niamh just dabbed.
Oh my god.
Niamh just dabbed in 2019.
You can't prove that.
Bryan, you said no, bring you to 5 points. John, you said yes.
You're a hopeful little heart, John.
Oh, I really hope the Labo is good.
That's only kind of what I sound like. Okay. This one was interesting. Detroit Become Human will break our top 25.
Ooh, shit! Where was that?
I think it was like 35. Wasn't it?
No,
It was 25. We said 30 and then it went down to 25.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I listened to this today.
So does that count as breaking it if it lands on 25?
Was it 25?
You just said it was.
No, that's. I don't think it was.
I'll get it up. Hang
Yeah.
on.
Okay, let's get the doc up.
Just in case.
Can we say this is worth triple points?
No. I'm not playing with fire.
Need
Okay.
triple points.
No, I'm winning. I can't fuck with this. I give extra points, and that's why Bryan is my second in command.
Okay. Bear with me now. Okay. Oh my god. Detroit Become Human was 31.
Okay.
31,
Didn't
okay.
break her 25.
Niamh,
Okay.
you said yes,
Oh,
which
shit.
means you were wrong. Bryan, you said no. And I also said no. Making the final Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year score. Niamh 7, Bryan 6, John 5.
I like that order.
It looks like there's still 2 queens.
You mean?
It's me and Bryan again.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Well, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this fucking
I don't like
podcast.
dealing with finances or anything taxing, so that's where Bryan comes in, and we need to keep you.
I am the $1 billion boss
position.
bitch.
Yeah.
I know what's going down. I count those fat stacks.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a chance you'll win this year. It's just another 12 months of being a scrub.
Yeah. Just a little weenie in the corner. A little dirty little hot dog. little poo.
You put little weenie in the corner.
Yeah. You little fanny, yeah.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of Let's Fight a Bosscast. If people want to write in for their predictions for us, if you want to give us predictions to bet on next episode, we'll be holding the next contest. If this isn't the last episode we ever do.
Who knows? Genuine.
Maybe Niamh and I will just continue it without him.
Maybe I'll find my own path.
Maybe he'll be the Dark Prince of something else.
I hate you guys so fucking much sometimes, I swear to God.
So how many willies did you see in MAGFest?
None!
6.
Like,
6.5.
No, it was none. I saw a bunch of shit, but none of them were dicks.
No, willies. I'm not
balls.
talking about dicks.
Yeah, just... Oh, God.
2 separate people.
Oh, my God. Let's end this nightmare of a podcast. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, I love you.